Here we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the rant. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every Monday through Friday at noon, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful South Side of Chicago. Check out some things here. We got all that. Like, follow, subscribe, right? Got to do all that stuff. Got to get more disciplined when it comes to the art form of whatever the hell this is. A live stream that is just, kind of spiraling. Hi, everybody. We have a chat room. Come one, come all. I want everybody in the chat room. I'm about to do the podium. Podium time. Here we go. Guys, I'm scattered. Well, you know that. Stream of consciousness. This show is a stream of consciousness. And I've been doing it this way for 5 years, right? No, just whatever. There's an outline of topics and current events. Like, oh, hey, did you see this? We'll talk about that for a little bit. But it's really just me and my thoughts and you in the chat room and all that kind of stuff. And I got to tell you, I'm a little scared. The events of the last few days, I've been telling my mom, got that. That sucks. My kid, I told you about my kid yesterday. He announced he's like, I'm retiring from football. Okay. All right. But you folks, every day at noon we gather here, and for at least 2 hours I can just check all that and just be normal, which is what we strive to be here on this show. Normal. Oh, I put the wrong thing up. I'm sorry. I wasn't shaking the can for tips. I didn't mean to be anyway. I wanted to put that up. There you go. Okay, so I'll give you the update. Mom is still in the hospital. Mr. Popular. Hold on. God damn it. It's laptop again, huh? All right. Yeah, it wasn't like that 5 minutes ago. All right, I got you guys. Thank you, Maddie. Appreciate it. Damn it. My bad. Yeah, look at that bullshit. There we go. Boom. There we go. All right, guys. We use it because Restream is what we've been using for 5 years, and I'm a bit of a troglodyte when it comes to this kind of technology, so I like to use what I'm used to. So we're still using it. But let me tell you, as someone who has used it for 5 years, don't use it. Don't use it. If you are starting this, stay away from Restream. This is the most janky thing. They change. Well, we don't need to go into that, but thank you. There it is. Maddie. Thank you. Maddie's going to join us a little bit later. She let me know that the laptop mic had suddenly switched back on. Maddie's going to join us a little bit later. We got a bunch of things we're going to get into with her. We're going to talk some Joe Rogan stuff. We're going to talk some White House Correspondents' Dinner stuff. We're going to talk some, other stuff. We got a bunch of stuff. She brings good stuff. We're going to get into it. That's today. Today, probably about 55 minutes, because she's got an important meeting, and far be it for me, in my silly little stream of consciousness, to infringe upon other people actually making their living. All right, let's check in with the chat room. I like to reward a podium trophy, first, second, and third place for today's chat room. The first person in, the second person in, and the third person in, just like an F1. Excuse me. Hold on. I'm going to get back to my mom. Don't worry. I just got distracted and I felt the mood was wrong and I needed to pick it back up when I got the mic fixed. The mic is fixed though, right? Because I haven't seen a response to it yet. Fix. Okay. All right. But okay. I still can't move on until somebody tells me the mic is fixed or somebody tells me it's not fixed. Either one will work. They'll achieve the same goal. I'll be informed. I'll just make noises into the mic until somebody responds in the chat room. Okay, there's Maddie. Yes, what? See, that's the problem because I never know at what point you're like behind. Are you saying yes to what? All right, you were all happy. Bill's in the chat room. April, is the mic fixed? Hi, Bill. Good to see Bill. All right. Thank you, Kevin. There you go. You rely on your oldest friends. All right. Let's check in with the podium before we give you the update on why old Pug's head is all brain scramblies today. Okay. Who was first in? think it might be a combination also of my big, stupid, fat fingers and Restream having such a small dashboard to navigate. All right, first in today, Peter. Look at that guy, Peter. Peter, thank you, brother. Peter's the executive producer today. Peter, I'll get that up in a minute, but Peter, thank you. And executive producer and first in. Look at that. Second in, Byron. Woohoo! The Dark Knight. Woo, showing up on the podium. Look at him going in third place. Always on the podium. Tyranda. Look at that. All right. That's first, second, and third. Peter, Byron, and Tyranda. They're our podium for today. All right. So let me give you the quick update. So mom's still in the hospital. That really sucks. She's okay. There you go. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. She's having difficulty breathing, and we're working on that. All right, there you go. That's mom. The boy, Jesus, just keeps the boy. The boy is just, boy is not having a good week. Well, actually, I don't know, because it started out with him having a very difficult life decision, which was he decided after being 100% committed to football every year of his life for the last 10 years, he decided that now going into his senior year that it's time for him to retire. He does not want to play football anymore, which was a shock because he was an important member of the team and he was very good and all that stuff. But okay, whatever. Tough decision for him. Felt he let his parents down. We had to make sure that you're not letting us down, dude. I go, if you're not in it, you could get hurt. We respect the decision. So, okay, so that was difficult. That was a couple days ago. We went through that. Now comes word. Check this out. So apparently, he can't miss another day of school. If he misses another day of school, then like the police are going to get involved. Apparently, he's run afoul of some truancy situations. And his mom doesn't need this. His mom's like, so who do they arrest? And I'm like here in Illinois going, pretty sure it's you. Pretty sure they're not going to extradite because the kid, pretty sure it's you. And she's, she's an incredible woman with a great career. And, these are the kinds of things that, could be used against her. Like, oh, she was a mom who allowed her child to fall under truancy. So, it's the kid. The kid, I keep telling you, he's like a little con man. He gets away with everything. I'm starting to wonder, his straight A's his entire life, I'm wondering if he just very early on learned how to hack into the school's computers. I wonder, which would be another sign of intelligence that I would, on many levels, respect greatly. But, no, so, he does this thing apparently. He blows off classes. He lives like he's in junior college, okay? Because, he's still high school, but, apparently he's just like blowing off classes. Now, here's where this gets difficult because, as I said, he still gets really good grades. Like, it's not affecting anything. But we have to react as responsible parents, especially now that there are rules in place that will affect his mother. My God, we can't allow that. So this little a-hole, now no matter what, it's like, dude, you got like 6 weeks, 5 weeks left of school or something. Dude, you can have the bubonic plague. We will infect the entirety of the school district, but you are going to school. No more excuses. He always, he missed, something that I haven't talked about. And I don't think I've talked about it because it's nobody's business and I won't get into specifics. But the buried lead in the football decision that I haven't talked about, except for in regard to, I've mentioned that he's having difficulty making the weight requirements for the position that he plays, right? He needed to be 265 pounds going into his junior year. Well, he went down 15 and now he's 205 pounds and that's just not going to work. Anyway. So the reason for that is because he's got an illness. He's got an illness. He's had it for about 6 months. We learned his mom's all over all of this stuff. And it's going to be an illness that he's going to carry with him. And he's going to have to do treatments for and all of that. He's fine. He's fine. But the result is that he's never going to be able to put on large amounts of weight, right? And he's going to have stomach aches a lot. He's going to have, and poops, whatever. But he's fine. Anyway, so that played into that whole thing. And because of that, because of his legitimate illness, he missed some school. He missed some school early in the year. So it's not like, his mom's being, derelict in her duties. Not at all. It's that he's going to school and then just like skipping out or whatever. Hanging, I'm sure he's not skipping out and going anywhere. He's probably hanging out in the library or playing on his phone in the, whatever. But yeah, so now we got that. And oh my God. I can't say it enough, because I feel so distant, because I'm not there. And I was only there for 5 years, well, I was there in the beginning but then for the last 5 years, I've been there. So I felt more connected and I was, having regular face-to-faces with him. But now since I'm back here, I feel disconnected again. And I'm just reminded of just how important it is in these kinds of situations where you go through a divorce and mom remarries and there's a stepdad. It's just so important to have a good and decent and loving relationship with those people instead of just being all caught up in your ego. I talk a lot about the therapy that I did and all that stuff and how I tried to fix myself. A lot of that was ego work, and not ego in the way regular people understand ego. Regular people think of ego. They think of, oh, he's stuck up, ego. Well, that's a very entry level way of looking at ego. Ego controls everything, your choices. It's not about I'm the best. No, it's a big part of it. Your ego fuels your sense of worth, but it's all kinds of other stuff. So anyway, point is this. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get into that. Was a long way to go for no, but I don't want to get into it. All right, let's move on. Here's what I do want to do. Anyway, the kid is fine. It's just like, oh my God, dude, really? Mom is we're concerned about, but she's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine. Sorry. I almost opened up, stream of consciousness. I almost just went, all right, let's really get into this whole. No, you can't do it. And you'll trust me, you'll appreciate that. I do want to recognize here. Hold on. Well, excuse me. I'm having my seasonal allergies as well, as you guys are accustomed to. You're used to it. I'm always complaining about something. I am not a hypochondriac. I am just sickly, I guess. Although not real sickly, like I'm stupid sickly. Like I'm like colds, like seasonal allergies and stuff. Stupid sickly. We do have an executive producer today. The show every day honors its executive producer. That's the person that tips the show because the show runs on tips. No advertisers. I'm not wealthy, so thank you so much. Appreciate everybody who got us through Pledge Week. We move on. We keep our head up and we charge into the next month. Today's executive producer, a person who actually tipped yesterday, which is so rare during these these non-weeks where we're not really pushing hard. Thank you to Peter. Peter is the executive producer and he's the pole position guy. Peter, of course, of Peter and Kim. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you thinking about me. That was nice. All right. Also, we've got a new category. Because, the executive producer is entirely financial based, right? It's like the person who gets to be the executive producer is the person who tips the show with money, right? But I tell you guys all the time that there are other things that you can do. There are other things that, you can help the algorithm, which we so desperately need. You can preach the show. You can forward the show, like the show, comment on the threads, all of that stuff. Help the algorithm. Those are things that you can do. Help us promote the show. I've said for a long time, I go, hey, man, any of you guys want to make clips and stuff? Go ahead, do it. Send them out. Help promote the show in ways that we can't do it. You people have been magical all these years, but now let's take it to another level. I have to pay attention to my texts today. God damn it. How am I on laptop again? Okay, guys, I just got a text that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's my mistake. That wasn't my text that went off. It was something else. All right. I'm hyper aware of my text today. By the way, thank you, Maddie. Don't ever, Maddie, text me because Maddie and April. April, do you even have my phone number? Wait, you need to have my phone number because April would be another good source. Someone that could help me. All right. Where was I? Yes. So there are other ways that you can help promote the show. And I keep telling you, I'm like, help the algorithm. So I have created a brand new category. Okay. Are you ready for this? Brand new category. He who doeth thine mostest. There you go. That's the category. He who doeth thine mostest. This is a category for somebody who who may, also contribute financially when we need it, but they are doing the other things. The he who doeth thine mostest. And yeah, if it's a girl, it's going to be she who doeth thine mostest. And of course, if it's somebody who wants to be they who doeth thine mostest, of course I'm fine with that. I don't give a shit. But just so we all know, this is talk for normal people. The default setting in my head is going to be heeth and sheeth, okay? But do not have a problem if you want something else. I don't care. I'm that little drop-down menu that says male, female, other. I don't care. That drop-down menu isn't judging you. All right. So the very first winner of the He Who Doeth the Mostest award today. Do I have it? I have it. It's Barney. Look at Barney. It's Barney! Barney is the inaugural winner of the brand new, maybe daily, I don't know. That's up to you guys. He Who Doeth Thine Mostest award. That is the person who has done the other things that need to be done. Barney made a video last night. Here, let me show you the video that Barney made. This is awesome. This is exactly what I need all of you to be doing. Listen, I'm not going to sue you. Have free, go ahead, record the show, download it. Your favorite clips, whatever. Man, oh man, was this the greatest thing that I've ever seen. Well, that's not true because we've got an angel. We've got an angel who doesn't want to be talked about, who helps the show. And that's pretty awesome. So, but, above and beyond that, it's this stuff here. Let me show you what Barney did. Here it is. This is so great. Here you go. This is what Barney did. Barney just took the show and he made this and he then forwarded this, or I don't know. Let her say it because this is an interesting little thing that I saw over the weekend. Actually, it's not true. I was going to do this on Friday. So Bobert's out there on the steps of the Capitol, looking all stupid and hot. I mean, that's just her vibe. That's it. That's my stupid and hot Bobert clip. I love that. That is awesome because you know what? I think that's a fine representation of what this show is. Bobert's looking all stupid and hot. Thank you, Barney. Barney is the inaugural winner of the He Who Doeth the Mostest award here on the show. Barney, that is awesome. Barney, that is awesome. And Peter. Don't want to forget Peter, the executive producer of today's show. Peter, you are equally as awesome. Peter's responsible for that Pugs and Company sign. If we had the He Who Doeth the Mostest award back then, he would be a winner. In fact, maybe one day we'll retroactively award that. All right, thank you, folks. Let's see here. My screen is weird. I hate when my screen goes weird. There it is. What else did I want to talk about? Let me see. Hold on. Great. There's a bunch of stuff happening here. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the ceasefire and the strait and all of that stuff. We've got some new, the Iranians, they're insane. Look, like I said, when we kill all of those people, those horrible, horrible, antichrist-like people, I mean, they're terrible. I mean, come on. We know what the fascist regime in Tehran has been doing to its people for the last, we know what they are. But what we didn't know they were really funny TikTok makers, because the Iranians have a creative team of monsters who it will be difficult to kill just based on respect for the art form, just the satire of it all. They're brilliant. They've been making these Lego movies, and they've been making these Lego music videos set to hip hop tunes. And by the way, it must be real easy to make a good hip hop beat, because these Iranians, man, it's going to be really hard to kill them. But, you know, aside from, we'll find their Werner von Braun. We'll find the guy. We'll find the Don Draper of, you know, whoever is doing these propaganda campaigns, and we'll let him come over, because only the best people and whatnot. But all the rest of them, it'll be hard to kill. Maybe we'll let him pick. Well, you know what? We'll let him pick. I think Werner von Braun was allowed to like bring one or two of his people. So maybe we'll let him pick. Like if he's got like one guy that's like, this guy, he's really funny. I think we really need his input. Then we'll bring him. We'll bring them. But everybody else has got to die. Everybody else has got to die. That's the hole that we've dug. So we'll talk a little bit about the ceasefire. We'll watch the new video. If I'm being honest, there's a couple new videos. I don't know how they do it. The video that we are going to play today is about the ceasefire that Trump announced yesterday in the middle of the afternoon. This video, this Lego video, was posted last evening, like 3 hours after Trump called the ceasefire. Or ceasefire. Peace deal, ceasefire. They're incredible. They're really good. You know that they're probably working naked, right? And they all have shock collars, like dog shock collars on. That's why they're so good. They're in a dungeon somewhere. This is an ad agency that has been imprisoned in a dungeon in Tehran, and they're really good. That's what we're learning. All right, so we'll talk about that. Also, Kash Patel went in front of the press yesterday. He didn't do so good. He didn't. It's fun. We'll watch that. We have a whole bunch of stuff we'll talk about. What else do we want to get into today? Do we have any fun videos? I thought I had a fun video that we were going to watch. Maddie's going to join us. That's right. Maddie's going to join us at 1 o'clock. Maddie's going to join us at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk about, well, she's always hoofing it out there, trying to find the interesting stories that intrigue both me and you. She's found us something going on with Caitlyn Jenner. There you go. There's one of them theys. One of them there theys. Caitlyn Jenner, something's going on with her. We're going to talk about that. Also, Joe Rogan's visit to the White House, and we're going to get into the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which, if you remember in years past, was always a very, very fun topic for Kelly and I. We used to cover the White House Correspondents' Dinner with glee. It's not the same as it used to be. It actually kind of sucks now, but whatever. We'll get into that as well with Maddie today. Big news in Texas, the 10 Commandments thing. We'll dive into that. We'll watch some video of Jenna Bush interviewing her dad. It's pretty cute. And we'll talk about this whole Tucker has regrets situation. There's Tucker Carlson made a... He's so good. He's such a con man. He's so good. Tucker Carlson is what I fear my son could be. Like that, just like so authentically sincere while at the same time just being absolutely full of shit. Anyway, Tucker feels bad about telling people that Trump was good. Tucker now sees that he was never good, and this is being received in weird ways. So I want to talk about how it's being received by different people, and also how I'm receiving it. First of all, the left's big question on it is, do we welcome Tucker? Well, I'll tell you about that. First of all, no. He doesn't want, what are you doing, dumbass? You agree with him on one thing. It's like, Tucker's with us now. No, he's not, man. No, he's not. He's with you on like the anti-Israel stuff, and he's with you on the Epstein stuff, and he's, holy shit, Tucker's a liberal. Holy shit, Tucker Carlson is a liberal. Anyway, we'll talk about that whole thing. Also, some fun videos. Got a bunch of fun videos that we'll watch at the end of the show today, like we like to do. All right, let's get things started with Well, okay, no, let's get things started this way. I want to show you guys a video that I just love. And again, this is hey Pugs, go back and do more ego work because this is purely narcissistic. This happened at the Cubs game yesterday. Cubs game, Wrigley Field. You know, the Palace, Wrigley Field. Oh my God, it's the most beautiful place. I saved up for years. I live in Nebraska. I'm a baseball fan in Nebraska, and I saved up for years. I worked summers to take a trip to Wrigley Field. It's baseball Oz. I mean, it's all right. I mean, I live here. It's all right. It's pretty cool for concerts. I'll give you that. The neighborhood around it has really taken shape and is now like, you know, party town, which is cool. But let's stop kidding us. Let's stop kidding ourselves about the actual ballpark. The actual ballpark is fucking shit. Okay? Yes, all of the things that will entice you to spend money that the Ricketts have built outside the ballpark are wonderful, state of the art, and as good as you will get anywhere from Singapore to Dubai to Vegas. It is beautiful. But that ballpark is a shit fucking ballpark, dude. Looks nice from the outside. Yeah, this happened last night. Again, this is just purely for my own. You want to know why? Because Guaranteed Rate Field is a nicer baseball park than Wrigley. That's right. I am standing on it. We have better food. It doesn't smell like piss. The bathrooms are modern. There are escalators. Now, granted, there may have been some of these things added to Wrigley Field. I ain't been there in about, well, I was there for a concert a couple of years ago. But anyway, this happened last night at Wrigley Field. And this is just, you know, beautiful for us White Sox fans. Because this is what we tell everybody. There you go. This is what we tell everybody about Wrigley Field. Yeah, have fun. All right? Don't wear open-toed shoes. All right? Ozzie Guillen, the manager of the White Sox. All right. Now, he's beloved on the south side of Chicago because Ozzie Guillen has always hated the Cubs. He's former manager of the White Sox, legendary shortstop, all that stuff. He's an icon on the south side. We love him. He's always hated the Cubs. One of the reasons that we always love him is because he always talks shit about the Cubs. And Ozzie Guillen famously once said that you people want to talk about how beautiful Wrigley Field is, but they got rats bigger than pigs. That was Ozzie Guillen. And everybody's like, oh, he's just biased. He's just. Well, this is last night at the Cubs game. And look at this. Did you see this Cub thing in the background? Did you see this giant rat that just jumped out of the stands and is now hanging out? These people don't even know.
Oh my gosh, it's on top of the Cubs box.
All right, so you're getting play-by-play by some people who are there watching this rat.
See it? Oh my gosh, it's huge.
Oh.
On top of what?
A rat on top of that.
All right, there he goes. All right, now he's going to run past the dugouts. Wrigley Field is a palace.
There it goes.
Do you hear the crowd too? Because the crowd on the other side can see it. The crowd on the other side is like, ah, gross.
Oh my gosh,
And let me just say that for a Chicago rat, and I've seen a lot of rats now, I'm more familiar with South Side rats, but for a Chicago rat, this is not extraordinarily large. This is a good-sized rat, but it's not an extra. I've seen bigger.
it's right around the dugout.
Look at the Phillies. They're like, holy fuck. Yeah. The crowd. I don't know. You can't be fun at the old ballpark, I guess. This is fun. Some stadiums have hot dog races. We have watched the rat.
It's by the mayor.
Look, these people have no idea. Well, and I get they're fine. They don't need to have any idea because there's obviously a barrier protecting them. But holy crap, if you're this guy, see this guy here in the white hat and the blue top, and there's a little crevice here, man, that rat's about to just run right into his foot. Oh! Welcome to Wrigley.
Wow, it's huge. Oh, it's the turf. These people have no idea.
They have no idea. They're morons. They're all in town for business from Philadelphia. These people.
All right.
I guess that's it. So they'll find that. They'll find the rat when the rain comes and it's laid babies. And then they roll that tarp out in a week and then 1,000 oh my God. Wrigley's beautiful, folks. Wrigley's so beautiful. It's better on the south side. We got a giant Japanese freak. He's awesome. I'll tell you about him. All right. Hey, by the way, right there, just an example. Today we awarded the new award, the He Who Doeth the Most award. Yeah. Barney, first recipient. That little hunk right there, that could gain traction. Somebody wants to do a little He Who Doeth the Most clip of that. My bashing the Cubs, that'll get traction. You know why? Because we'll post it on White Sox Twitter. So that would definitely earn, if somebody made me bashing Wrigley and the Rat, if somebody made that into a clip, I think that would work. Okay. The other baseball thing I want to show you is this here. Check this out. This is fun. This is fun for, again, narcissistic reasons. Two, because one, I know that in general, people don't give a fuck about baseball. Me and Adam, that's it. Me and Adam are talking. I'm talking to Adam right now because he likes baseball. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe anybody else. But here, let me show you this. I thought this was really cool. There's the Wrigley Rat. Oh, here it is. Okay. So let me set this up for you. Okay. So I've been telling you about, it's baseball. I've been telling you about my White Sox. Yeah, obviously I'm a White Sox fan. I hate the Cubs. I've been telling you about the star of the South Side, the South Side Samurai. We're not allowed to say that. Yeah, we are, because we're from the South Side and we don't play that bullshit. Okay. So I've been telling you about the South Side Samurai, Munetaka Murakami. Now this dude, who? What? Yeah, you're not supposed to. But back there in Japan, what they call the Nippon League, this dude is like Babe Ruth. This guy, this kid, Munetaka Murakami, Mooney. This dude, like in his first 2 years in the Nippon League, won back-to-back MVP awards. So just like back-to-back, hey, who's this kid? I don't know, MVP. And then in the second year, or maybe it was his third year, I think it was Rookie of the Year and then back-to-back MVPs. And in the second MVP season, that's where he set the all-time single-season home run record for Japanese baseball, breaking a long-held record of a guy by the name of Sadahara Oh, who is like the baseball god in Japan. Now, Sadahara Oh has in recent years been replaced, and rightfully so, by Shohei Ohtani, who is woo! So anyway, this dude Murakami, he's like him and Ohtani are like best friends. But anyway, he and Murakami is a little younger, and so he just came over now to MLB. He's like, well, if all these other Japanese guys are doing it, and so I've been telling you about him. He's pretty great. He's a lot of fun. He knows how to be a superstar. Like, he's been a superstar. So he knows how to carry himself. He knows how to be a teammate, and he's trying to fit in, and he's cute because he's got the language barrier and all that. And he hits bombs. Like, we've already seen him. He's hit more home runs in his first, and it's such a weird stat, but this is the one they're pushing. More home runs in his first 20 games than any other Japanese player in Major League Baseball history. Apparently, the record was held by Shohei Ohtani, who had 6. Second was Hideki Matsui, who I think had 5, but now you've got Murakami, and he's at 9. He's at 9 now. So, very exciting. He's blasting the ball. He is currently on a 4-game streak where he's hit home runs in 4 straight games. Very cool. Anyway, the knock on him, which is why the Yankees and the Dodgers were hesitant and the White Sox snuck in the back door and signed him because he wasn't supposed to go to the White Sox. The reason that the bigger teams didn't want to invest what they thought it was going to take to get him was because they didn't think that he could hit pitching over 92 miles an hour because there's not a lot of that over there in Japan. Well, he's been teeing up. He had a grand slam on Sunday off a 99 mile an hour fastball. So, all right, he's fine. He's hitting Major League Baseball pitching. He's also what's known in baseball as a true 3-outcome hitter. Every time he steps to the plate, one of 3 things are going to happen: a home run, a walk, or a strikeout. That's the curse of the truly great hitters. Anyway, because he's so popular in Japan, the White Sox, who nobody cares about, like nobody with the South Side of Chicago cares about it. And even now and then we run into somebody in the South Side with a Cubs hat and we're like, what the fuck? We are the smallest market team in Major League Baseball because we share a single market with a much bigger team, the Cubs. You talk about, Mets to Yankees or Angels to Dodgers. Well, White Sox to Cubs is the same thing. So we're a very small market team. So it was shocking when we got this person who is probably going to play for us for 2 years and then go sign some massive deal somewhere else. But whatever, we got him and it's fun. And because he's so popular over there, the White Sox, who nobody even cares about here, are carried nationally in Japan. White Sox games are now there are so many. I'm a big fan of White Sox Twitter, which is a very fun place to hang out if you're a White Sox fan. Anyway, we are overwhelmed with new Japanese friends. And because of translation, you can have conversations. Anyway, it's really cool. But I wanted to play this for you. This is fun. This is Mooney last night. This is the baseball. This is the Japanese call. This is what it sounds like with the Japanese play-by-play team calling their Japanese national hero, Munetaka Murakami. That's okay. A little bit of culture clash there when number 5 entered the dugout. The guy here without the hat. This is Sammy Antonacci, hero of the Italian team from the World Baseball Classic. Murakami enters the dugout, and if you notice, I'll play it back for you. Sammy Antonacci does the traditional Japanese bow to him, but Murakami seems to want to shake hands. Awkward. Well, we'll figure it out. Baseball locker rooms are some of the most gloriously culturally diverse places you'll find anywhere. Here we go. See if he bows. Yeah. He bows. Murakami, yeah, whatever. All right. All right, now indulge me. We're going to listen to a little bit more of this because the next 2 batters, let's watch the next 2 batters. Come on, Vargas. They weren't even excited about that one. That was like a boring line drive. Mooney just put one up into the stars and then... Okay. What was that? Was that the 3rd one? Yeah, no. Hold on. Oh, that's Mooney. Hey. All right. Thank you for indulging me. 3 consecutive back-to-back home runs last night. Started off by the Samurai of the South Side, Murakami. Do we have to get into the ugly stuff now? Do we have to get into the regular stuff now? All right, yeah, let's run through the headlines, and then I'll take my quick little coffee break, and we'll come back with Maddie. But first, let's tell you about all the things that people are talking about. The Dems got themselves a big victory last night in the redistricting vote there that was happening in Virginia. Now, this is all a domino effect related to when Trump picked up the phone and called Governor Abbott and said, redistrict. Now, this strategy at the time was criticized as, oh my God, you're going to start a war. You're going to get Texas involved, then you're going to get California involved. So that's exactly what's happening. Any advantage that they momentarily did a end zone dance for, and that's really all it's about. Trump did this not caring about what would happen a year down the road. Trump did this in the moment because it looked like a victory and it looked like he owned the libs. But just like the Strait of Hormuz shit that we're seeing now, there was good reason that nobody else ever did this before. Because what's happening now is what everybody knew was going to happen. But Trump doesn't care because Trump only cares about the instantaneous reaction. We bomb them, love me. He doesn't care about what's happening now where they're like, there seems to be no plan. So congratulations. Now this is it should also be pointed out that the thing in Texas, the call, Trump calls Texas and says redistrict, we need more votes, we need more of a cushion in Congress, and Abbott did it legislatively. Virginia put it to a vote. Virginia asked the people, and the people passed it. People in Virginia sided with the Dems, and they said, yeah, let's do it. So, okay, so now we got this happening. And once again, no matter how you feel about what happened last night, just remember that this was started because Trump did something that nobody else was willing to do. I'm the first president. So there we go. Ceasefire again. Ceasefire again. We've got a ceasefire happening. What's that? Taco Trump, right? That's the thing. Trump always jiggle. We're gonna put the power station like 24 hours ago. He truthed, if they don't come back to the table or whatever, power plant day, blah, blah. He did it again, like 24 hours. And then yesterday, it's been extended. Here's what I love too, because he's out of 2 weeks. This peace deal was 2 weeks. You know, I always tell you everything with Trump is kicking the can down the road 2 weeks and hoping we forget about it. Maybe hoping he can distract with some other either concocted or discovered scandal that's in his closet. This peace deal was 2 weeks and it ran out yesterday or today or whatever. And remember, it was a 2-week peace deal because on that Sunday, he went power plant day is Tuesday. So 2-week peace deal, kicking the can down the road. And now we get to him on Sunday again, power plant day, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to extend it. We're extending it. We're extending the peace deal or the ceasefire or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Indefinitely, by the way, now, because he's all out of the 2-week option. He's used the 2 weeks too much. Now it's indefinitely. We're at ceasefire indefinitely. All right, guys, here's what the Iranians are doing. Okay. That's like the Iranian response. The Iranians are like, okay, ceasefire? My friend, we've been out of missiles for like weeks. We have not been... What a ceasefire means when you say it, my friend, is that you're not going to fire anymore. Because you're the only one firing. We've got boats, floating mines. We don't know where they are. We're pretty much focused. We are all living in holes, but totally focused on the strait, which we seem to have uncontested control over, which is truly amazing when you consider what we've been through. That's the Iranian response to the cease. They're like, okay, cool, dude. Cool, extended ceasefire. What that means is we're done. And this is how, it's that meme of Homer Simpson disappearing slowly backwards into the bushes. That is what fucking Trump is doing here. And what is the end result? Well, we've had about a month or so, 2 months now maybe, of really expensive gas prices. So the oil guys, they didn't miss a beat. They made their money. They made it up at the pump. They weren't inconvenienced at all. We were. And Iran now has uncontested control of the strait. That's the takeaway. Do you know what history's going to say? History's going to say that Iran won. History's going to say that Iran came out of this with more than they had before. They used to have to negotiate and at least be peaceful with the Omani, what they called the Omani Principality deal or something. It was a joint operation of the Strait of Hormuz between Iran, who control a lot of it, and Oman. A group set up in Oman that was heavily influenced by Western interests. Okay, so that's how the strait had always remained peaceful. And, up until February 28th, Iran had to at least ask permission or make it public beforehand, anything that they were going to do in the strait. Not anymore. It's theirs now. They own it outright. They're like, yeah, fuck you. You want to make an additional new deal about the strait? That's fine. It's just such a fucking clusterfuck. And again, the Iranian propaganda, they have, within hours, they put out a brand new banger. Here it is. This is the latest. This is the Iranian propaganda. These are people creating these for the Iranian regime. Now, I don't know. I like to imagine that they're chained in a dungeon in Tehran, you know, because there are parts of Tehran, I don't know if people realize this, they're pretty modern, like glass skyscrapers, and they did have some form of like a normal modern society. So I like to imagine this is like in the dungeon, the boiler room of like some glass tower that used to house Iran's #1 ad agency. And it's just all of their creatives chained to walls. And they've got to come up with shit like somebody yells down, Trump did a ceasefire. And then they're like, oh, who's got anything? And they are putting out bangers, and they're doing it immediately. This was released a couple of hours after Trump announced the indefinite ceasefire. It is
sacred defense.
Look, man, as a creator, I gotta say, I am impressed. And as I stated at the start of the show, they're going to be the hard ones to kill. When we do get around to killing everybody, the guys who created all of these incredible Lego things, they're going to be the hardest to kill. But they got to go. They got to go because, you know, this is, after all, evil, but still well done. Here it is. Hours after Trump called a ceasefire, they put this out.
It's Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Big threats on Monday, then they chickens out Tuesday. Power plant day, bridge day, all that tough talk. Now he's folding again. What a joke. He screams regime change, drops bombs like it's bold.
See, when it's presented by the White House as he's extended the peace deal, the way he wants that to fall on our ears is that he's extending it because he's a man of peace and he's going to take it easy on these folks. But they know that if they step out of line again, he's going to do power plant day. That's how he thinks it's going out. And this is how it's going out. Like the Iranians are like, yeah, that's not how people are hearing it, dude. People are looking at you going, you are full of shit. You are all talk. You are all threats and bravado because you've always been Fred Trump's boy. But these people don't give a fuck about that. They're going to hear your peace deal, and instead of being like, okay, be cool about this because we really want this to work out. No, they're like, get those guys to make a video. Let's humiliate this guy one more time. They don't care. They're not afraid of him. Isn't that obvious? This is state-sponsored propaganda. This is their response to Trump's indefinite ceasefire.
Comes to the mic and says, maybe we fold. One day's winning, next day's scared. Every Tuesday's backpedaling hard. You threatened the straight, so we'd live in hell. Now you're begging for ceasefire, we can tell. 17 bases hit your military in shame. But you're still out here tweeting like it's a game. Taco Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Big threats on Monday, then eat chickens out Tuesday. Power plant day, bridge day, all that tough talk. Now he's folding again, what a joke. Sacred defense. We still standing.
This is a religious war to these fuckers. He's not going to scare them with wiping them out. They're like, okay, bring that on, man. 70 virgins and whatnot. You know, that's what I believe. You know how you believe a black man shouldn't be an airplane pilot? You know that to be true, dude. Well, kind of the same thing.
Strong. Taco Tuesday again. Yeah.
All right. Now, granted, that was a little shorter than usual for them, but man, they pumped that out within like hours. They're gonna respect us again. Barney's got a plan. Barney knows. Barney says the CIA is gonna bring them over and put them to work. Yeah, man. I imagine it's same people who handled the Von Braun situation, you know, where we were like, we need to kill all the Nazi leadership and put them on trial at The Hague. Every single one. Well, some of the scientists, we're not going to blame them, right? Because they had some good ideas. Have you read their notes? Barney's onto something. You're absolutely right. They'll be making fucking Coke Zero commercials by this time next year. That'll still be working. And they'll be like the best Coke Zero. No, some of them will be up for Academy Awards for like their innovative, digital animated, whatever. Good point, though. Good point. Let's see. What else are we talking about here in the early stages? Hegseth says no more vaccines. There you go. It's another example of one of those things that looks good now because it, owns the libs and whatnot. And everybody on Twitter for the next 24, 48 hours are going to be like, yeah. And then, I don't know, 2 years from now, we're going to lose a war because everybody's got the whooping cough. And we're like, what the fuck? But what do I know? What do I know? I'm still a doctor guy. I made it through COVID being a doctor guy. I wasn't when I was in college, trying to meet girls and, chugging beers and all. There were people in the library that were studying nerd shit. And now as a grown-up, I respect that. So what do I know about vaccines? Let's listen to Robert F. Kennedy, the guy who cuts raccoon dicks off things. Oh, well, off raccoons, to be specific. All right, so go ahead. Fight about that amongst yourselves. But you morons, this is one of them things that shouldn't be done, shouldn't be fucked with. But whatever. Head Seth wants to own the libs. He needs a good trending cycle where he's doing something that plays to the base. All 32% of them. Yeah, that's the latest number for Trump's approval rating. 32 now. Okay, we'll move on. How about this? So Kash Patel's had a week, hasn't he? Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, very important job, one of the most important jobs in our government. Kash Patel, he's subject of an Atlanta piece from last Friday that apparently every pundit in the world read over the weekend. The Atlanta piece purported to tell the story of an FBI director who is oftentimes absent, and when he is not, he is inebriated. Yeah, the Atlantic story, is filled with sources, unnamed sources. But, again, I don't know if people realize that that's not a mystery person. Somebody knows who those sources are. And, you wouldn't do, first of all, the Atlantic knows how litigious MAGA is in general and Kash Patel is specifically. He sees everybody. Put a flag in that. So they're not going to run this story without having, do people not understand? I know it's easy to say that a story that offends somebody that you idolize is fake news or whatever, but do you have any idea what the process of making that sausage is? Do you understand legal departments in newspapers and in magazines? And journalism in generally has been governed, certainly the last 5 years since all of this crazy litigious, but it's been almost entirely governed by attorneys, by lawyers who have to check and fact check and re-fact check every fucking story. So if you think that Kash Patel deciding that he's going to sue the Atlantic for $250 million on Monday after they drop a story on Friday telling the story of how he's an alcoholic who's absent from his job, if you think that that's something that he has any chance in hell of winning, you're nuts and you don't understand how it goes. It's going to be thrown out of court, just like every other one of these things that have been brought against people criticizing MAGA. They all get thrown out of court. And you know this because you would have the names ready at the top of your head of all the people that have gone down for it, and you ain't got nothing. Got nothing. They all get thrown out. Trump sues somebody for saying something, that gets thrown out. Case in point, just yesterday, Kash Patel had another one of his lawsuits above and beyond this Atlantic one. Kash Patel had another one of his lawsuits thrown out. A federal judge tossed a defamation lawsuit Kash Patel brought against former FBI official and pundit Frank Figliuzzi. Figliuzzi's claim that Patel spent more time in nightclubs than at FBI headquarters was ruled by the judge to be rhetorical hyperbole. Not at all defamation. Just observed fact, my friend, with a little bit of hyperbole, maybe. So that ties right into what the Atlantic story is. So here you go. So somebody before the Atlantic ran this story, this Frank Figliuzzi guy, accused Kash Patel of, being a nightclub guy. We know about this. I told you, it's been well documented. He spends his weekends at some elite private club, discoteca, at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. That's where he spends his weekend, and he flies there on the FBI jet. He says anything because there's so much other stuff that we're like, we got to do this. Again, cleaning up the corruption within this current administration is like walking into a 12-year-old slob's room and going, where do I even start cleaning this pigsty? Where do we even start? So anyway, this guy said all of these things, and Kash Patel's like, I'm going to sue him. And the play here is that you sue everybody and you think that they can't possibly afford to fight you. But they are, and they're winning because they're being thrown out. And that's exactly what's going to happen with this $250 million Atlantic lawsuit. And you want to know the real sick reality of this? The ones that don't get thrown out, and there have been a couple that have settled. They have settled with the president for gratuitously corrupt reasons. CBS, Trump was suing CBS for, like $500 million. One of these crazy numbers that Trump was suing CBS for. CBS would have won. They had the First Amendment and journalism and all that on their side. They would have won. It would have been thrown out. Would have never been made it to court. But CBS decided to sit down and negotiate and ended up settling with Trump and gave him all kinds of money. CBS was then approved for their merger with Paramount Skydance, and the rest is history. Billionaires made their billions, and CBS fell under the control of Trump. The corruption is just, you could choke a horse with it, is my point. All right, so come to the Atlantic article, which is the thing that's broke on Friday. Kash Patel, he's missing. He's drunk all the time. He's using the jet for like all kinds of crazy shit. Case in point, why did he need to go to the Olympics to celebrate? Why the fuck was the FBI director flying on taxpayer dollars to attend? The FBI director, I understand Secretary of State being sent to the Olympics. I understand the vice president. I understand the first lady. There are a lot of people who fit the role of the person a country might send in the place of the president, the ambassador, whatever. Those are all understandable. The director of the FBI, why are we flying him so that he can party with the hockey team? Come on, man. You know it's wrong. Everybody knows that's fucked up. Everybody knows. Even like the most MAGA person knows. Could you imagine if like Obama did that? Could you imagine if Pete Buttigieg back in the Biden days was doing it? No. Well, yes, you can. It's like a fucking wet dream for you guys. You wish Pete Buttigieg had done this shit. So just a little intellectual, a little moral consistency is all we're looking for here. And again, I say this as a guy who's in the middle, who certainly these days is drifting left, but only because I'm being pushed by crazy. But I say this as someone who you can do business with. I am not one of these people that needs to, live in a polarized society. All right, so Kash Patel stood in front of the peoples yesterday. And by the peoples, I mean the journalists, the reporters. Stood in front of him at FBI headquarters. He was there flanked by interim Attorney General Todd Blanche. Yeah, we're in good hands. Do you forget? Man, there's so much going on. Bondi's gone, so the Attorney General. Did you know we got a new Attorney General? No, because nobody fucking normally, that would be a huge story. They'd be vetting him on every show, but there's so much going on that they're like, yeah, who cares who the Attorney General is right now? Well, somebody should, I think. It's Todd Blanche. It's the guy who gave Ghislaine Maxwell the cushy prison upgrade to the minimum security all women's place where she plays tennis or pickleball or some fucking shit. Pretty nice digs for a globally convicted sex trafficker, but hey, that's the guy that we decided he was going to be better than Pam Biondi. All right, so Todd Blanche, he went out there with his FBI director because apparently in the weird-ass pecking order here, the Department of Justice is just a hair above the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I would think that, I could see how they could be related, but I would think they would be independent. But okay, one learns that the Attorney General is now in charge of the FBI director. So when Todd Blanche, the acting Attorney General, stands next to Kash Patel, who's under fire, you have to believe, especially since he's acting, he's walking around on eggshells, right? He wants to get the gig, so you don't want to do anything that's going to fuck anybody up. So you have to believe that Todd Blanche going up there in front of the press, standing next to Kash Patel, is some form of an endorsement from the administration. You would have to believe that if you thought that there was any cohesive sort of messaging and direction within this. But I don't know. Everybody might just be every man for himself. So I don't know honestly what to make of Todd Blanche. In normal times, I'd be like, well, that is an endorsement of the FBI director. But they might both be having each other's back and working independently to kind of try and show, because everyone believes Kash Patel is about to be fired, and nobody thinks that Todd Blanche, because of the Ghislaine Maxwell thing, is actually going to be confirmed and elevated to the Attorney General. He's acting. He'll be acting for the next 18 months. It'll be one of them deals. So Kash Patel took some questions. Here, I got a couple of cuts. He did not do well. The other, that's for context, the other guy up there is going to be acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. Here, let's watch Kash. Let's see how he handled himself. So, oh my God, Maddie, hold on. Here we go. All right. All right, check this out. Here we go. We got two of these.
Well, I do want to give you an opportunity to respond directly to the allegations in the Atlantic article that your unexplained absences created a national security risk. And beyond that, can you say definitively that you have not been intoxicated or absent during your tenure as FBI director?
I can say unequivocally that I never listen to the fake news mafia. As when they get louder, it just means I'm doing my job. This FBI director has.
And life is awesome when you can just do that. Like, I would love to get pulled over and have a cop come up to me and go, do you know how fast you're going? And you just say something like, well, I don't trust the fake speed mafia. I'm not going to answer that question, officer, and I'm going to be on my way because I do. What are you doing? This is a press conference. They're asking questions about things that are in the press. There is a better way to answer this, not an easy way. I mean, this is a situation, yeah, but this is not the way to do it. He does everything so poorly. I bet he needs a drink. I know he needs a drink.
And as when they get louder,
Intoxicated or absent during your tenure as FBI director?
I can say unequivocally that I never listen to the fake news mafia. And as when they get louder, it just means I'm doing my job.
Okay, time out. When the criticism gets louder of the job you're doing, you process that as it just means I'm done. Well, I guess the initial contention, which is a false contention, is that everything that comes from that side is somehow illegitimate. Okay, I'm with you. I see how far back. Okay.
This FBI director has been on the job twice as many days.
It's the third person. That's always good. When your sanity and your mental fitness is being questioned, it's always good to start talking like a wide receiver who dropped the touchdown. This Attorney General
As everyone my job.
Antoine, don't worry about what the press says. Antoine is just going.
FBI
That's what he's
director has
doing.
been on the job. And as when they get louder, it just means I'm doing my job. This FBI director has been on the job twice as many days as every director before me. What that means is I've taken half.
Wait. You've only been okay, so what you mean is, because you've only been there for a year, right? All right. There have been FBI directors for. Does this guy know who J. Edgar Hoover is? Does this guy know? What is this? I have been FBI director longer than anybody, and I've been on the job. This is not the way to argue this point. This is not the way to control the press. You're just giving us more stuff to chew on, you fucking lunatic.
This FBI director has been on the job twice as many days as every director before me. What that means is I've taken half as many days off as those before me. What that means is I've taken a third less vacation.
Thanks for explaining it. Thanks for moving on. Thanks for so quickly explaining it that you didn't even give us a chance to go, okay, wait, so that means, no, what that means is here's what you need to think, because I'm alpha and this is how I talk to underlings.
Than those before me.
Well, I do want to give you an
All right, so yeah, man, that's the first one where he got all preachy and righteous. Let's see, where's the second one? I think this is the one where he kind of blows his top. I think this might be the fun one. All right, here we go. We're continuing on yesterday's press conference. Todd Blanche, the acting Attorney General, who's got a big X on his forehead as well, out there showing support for his guy, FBI.
Anyone one of you that wants to participate? I've never been intoxicated.
All right, here it is. This is the one where he gets a little feisty. Well, let's bring that down. The other one was a little quiet. Let's bring this one down. It's a little loud. Here we go. Here he is. Now he's mad.
Intoxicated on the job, and that is why we filed. I've never been intoxicated on the job, and that is why we filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit. And any one of you that wants to participate, bring it on.
He looks kind of drunk now. I would say you look like you've had a couple of pops, but then again, it's his eyes, right? He's got the weird eyes going, so the eyes always look a little askew.
You in court. Defamation. I've never been intoxicated on the job, and that is why we filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit. And any one of you that wants to participate, bring it on. I'll see you in court.
The computer login issue. Just explain the computer login issue. You were not able.
All right, so this is about the Atlantic report that said that he had difficulty logging into his FBI page in his office, and he immediately processed that as he has been fired, and it has been reported by 6 or 9. I don't know which one was 6 and which one was 9, but people who were in the office that he went up to and went, "I've been fired." He freaked out momentarily because he couldn't log in. And everybody around him, his secretaries, the people in the cubicles outside his office, whatever, you know how everybody was like, yeah, he thought he was fired. He was like, for the first 5 minutes, he thought he was fired. The Atlantic reported that. Now, it's interesting because we all think he's on the verge of being fired, and it's interesting to know that he also thinks he's on the verge of being fired. So that was just interesting to know what his state of mind is and why someone might be driven to drink. That's stressful. If you're a drinker, these are the excuses you use to drink to excess. All right. So that's what this question is about. The Atlantic charge that he freaked out when he couldn't log into his computer.
I'll see you in court.
The computer login issue. Just explain the computer login issue. You were not able to log into your lawsuit contends that you were not able to log into the system. What did you think after you were unable to log into the system?
Let's have a survey. How many of you people believe that's true? Hang on.
Did you communicate?
You asked the question. Let me answer. No.
Did you communicate with anyone that you thought you were fired after you were unable to log into
the problem with you and your report? Don't cut me off. You asked the question. The problem with you and your baseless reporting is that is an absolute lie. It was never said. It never happened. And I will serve in this administration as long as the president and the attorney general want me to do so. And every time you guys report false lies, every time you guys raise baseless questions, when we are here to talk about the
I don't know, the hockey video, that's not baseless. There's legitimate, that is the kind of thing that you start to question one's character about. Not that they're a bad person, but that they're not suited for all the jobs. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with a guy who, I wouldn't, look, there is something wrong with a guy who is representing our country in one of its most serious roles as director of the FBI from behaving that way in a locker room, celebrating. Okay? It's just not even, it's not even appropriate for the coach of the team to have been celebrating to that degree. He was behaving like a frat boy, and he is the director of the FBI. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. It's an uncomfortable look. And again, had it been Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, you know, I mean, you guys would be like, oh, that's disqualifying. That's disqualifying. So, you know, let's be honest. Stop it. All right. There were better ways for him to respond, and he didn't do it because, of course, he is Kash Patel. Now, I was going to take a break, and we were going to get to Maddie, but Maddie's got stuff to do, and I want to get to Maddie. So we're going to call her right now. So, Maddie, heads up. Here we go. Let's see. Maddie on a Wednesday. What's on Maddie's mind? There she is. Okay. And calling Maddie. All right. Very good.
Hey, Pug.
All right, there she is. It's Maddie. I'm sorry. I did not mean to ambush you like this, but I am trying to be respectful of your schedule, and I know I went a little late. So,
no, you're good. I'm actually glad you brought me up at the end of that story because I was going to throw it back anyway.
What do you mean? Oh, really? Okay, so please, let's hit the ground running. What is on Maddie's mind today?
Yeah, so because you know I want to defend what we do here because if nothing we do educate, and I think that we can draw a very strong line to the Afro Man trial that we covered several weeks ago with regards to this lawsuit that Kash Patel has brought against the Atlantic with regards to this defamation suit. Remember, Afro Man sued the Adams County Police department in Ohio for defamation. And what we learned when we were studying that case is that it's not enough to prove that you just said something that could be considered defamatory. Because Kash Patel is a public servant, he also, just like in the Afroman trial, they have to prove malice defamation. So Kash Patel can't just prove that they said some stuff that hurt his feelings. His lawyers have to prove that it was said erroneously, unironically, and with malice. And so he has opened himself to exposure. And if any of these things that they said can be proven, which we know they have 9 people that came forward and defended the fact that this happened and went directly to this Sarah Fitzpatrick, who is a journalist for The Atlantic, his case holds no water. He will not be able to prove defamation. But in the process of this, the discovery is going to absolutely ruin him.
And that's why they never move forward. That's why these are always thrown out. Now, oftentimes, and this was something that I didn't know until, what was the recent case? There was a recent case and I saw somebody talking about it. It had to do with the Prince Andrew. Anyway, doesn't matter. What happens with a lot of these cases is that the people bringing it, so like in this case, Kash Patel's team, they bring the case, right? And then they refuse to participate to such an extent that the judge then throws it out. And what that does is it indemnifies them as having not sort of decided not to pursue the case because of what you just said, because of discovery, but it then puts it on the judge. Oh, it was another crooked judge decision. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of these cases get thrown out because the people bringing it, the Kash Patels, they really don't want the discovery process. They want the headlines for bringing the case, which is what Kash Patel is getting this week because he's bringing the case this week. But they don't want the headlines for either losing or for deciding to drop the case. So they put it on the judge by doing the absolute minimum amount of work, and then the judge has no choice but to toss the case. And then they can say, activist judges. So, I mean, they don't even try to win these cases when they bring them. They want the initial headlines, and then they want at the tail end to be able to say activist judge threw it out.
It's the righteous indignation of it all.
Right.
I mean, he's obviously getting thrown in the public eye. I mean, and I think it is for very good cause. And I don't disagree with you. It's very possible that it could go that way, unless he just really feels slighted by this. Now, of course, I have an over/under on the fact that he's going to stay there maybe 5 more days.
Oh, really? Oh, so yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think he should be encouraged by the news that broke about Tulsi Gabbard, that they said that she needs to resign by the midterms, which is a pretty nice soft landing. She can go the whole summer collecting checks and using private jets and all the stuff that MAGA avails to its administration officials before having to retire. I mean, I don't even know the validity of that report, but I did see that.
I'm sure that she's grateful that this story has broken, because I think the heat's off her right now.
Yeah.
Because everybody is hyper fixated on Kash Patel's drinking problem and Kash Patel's obvious. I mean, I think even during that interview that looked like something was wrong with him. Either he's DTing or he had a few Bloody Marys to get through the morning presser.
Yeah, that's. I looked at him and I think it kind of looks like, but his eyes are always a bit deceiving. The other aspect of his, whether or not he's going to be fired or not. I think Trump does not look at Kash Patel the way Trump looks at Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth to Trump is the son he never got. Pete Hegseth is the alpha that Trump, he looked good on TV. He's a handsome guy. He pretends to be a war hero. That's everything that Trump always wanted in a son. So I think Pete Hegseth is safe. When Trump looks at Kash Patel, I think that was a favor. I think somebody said, you got to give this guy a good job. I don't think Trump likes Kash Patel.
Let's face it, he's also brown. I don't think Trump really particularly likes brown people all that much either.
Okay, but that also might be a reason why he was put in that job, so that they could say, see, we don't have a problem. But above and beyond that, if somebody needs to be thrown on the MAGA pyre, I think Trump looks at Kash Patel and goes, I don't like that guy. He's weird. I think Trump thinks he's weird with the eyes. Imagine if Kash Patel was a Democrat, what Trump would say about him. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I just don't see Trump as liking him in him having the same sort of indemnified force field that Pete Hegseth has, because I think Trump looks at Pete like, that's my
I
boy.
think, oh, for sure. I couldn't agree more. I think that if he's going to have to again, sacrifice somebody for the cause, sacrifice somebody for the look, or do whatever, I think that, before I would have said, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, because we know he has zero issues with firing the women from his administration. I mean, 2 have already been thrown in the wood chipper. I would have picked Tulsi Gabbard for the next one, but I think that this might be embarrassing enough to him. We also know how much Donald Trump, for all of his faults, I'm willing to give him credit, at least in this one area. He is not a drinker. He does not like drinking. And he has been very vocal about that because his uncle Fred, that, or no, not Fred. He has an uncle that's an alcoholic. That was an alcoholic, and he's always been very anti-alcohol. So
Right.
I don't think
His brother, Freddie,
that's
his
right.
older brother, Freddie, died of alcoholism. He was a pilot who lost his
Yeah.
wings because he was a drunk. And yeah, Trump has always, Freddie was
Yeah.
sort of Trump's
I
idol
think he
growing
looks at
up.
that as weakness.
Yes.
He identifies alcoholism as weakness.
Yeah.
Therefore, if he now is if that thought is embedded in Trump's mind that his FBI director is weak, and Trump doesn't respond to weakness very well, he doesn't like that, then this is going to be an eventuality. It's just a matter of when this will actually play out. I think Tulsi's probably taking a deep breath right now, because I don't think that she's really his problem at the current time.
Yeah. And again, I just say this, and then we'll move on to some of the pre-planned stuff that we were going to get into. The issue with Tulsi Gabbard, there's a lot of people, it's a sport now, trying to figure out who the next to go is. Everybody has their guesses. I do think it's going to be Kash. Some people think that it's going to be Carolyn Levitt. Now, I wanted to point something out. I think Carolyn Levitt falls into the exact same category as Pete Hegseth. I think Trump looks at her like, that's who I wish Tiffany was, or whatever.
No, I don't think she's going.
Right, but hold on.
Have to fuck up supremely to be getting rid of.
She ain't going anywhere. He doesn't fire people like that based on their performance. He likes them too much as, extensions of his brand. She's beautiful and, feisty. He likes that. Tulsi Gabbard, he will cast on the MAGA pyre, because I think Trump thinks Tulsi Gabbard's a butterface. I think that's how he looks at Tulsi Gabbard. I do. I think it's that
one in a long time, Bugs. God, you got me cackling.
I think it's that simple with him. Kash Patel and the Butterface are the next 2 to go, but he's not going to touch the Ken doll and Barbie. They're too good for the brand.
Now, no, it was a Barbie, but she fucked up too big.
Well,
He couldn't deny that one. And she fucked up because she said that he gave her permission to spend that $220 million on advertising that he did not. And I do believe that. I don't think he was lying, and I think that pissed him off, and that was that. And so yeah, I agree. I agree with your takes on these things. Yeah, I don't think Caroline Levitt's going anywhere. I think everybody dislikes Caroline Levitt.
Oh yeah,
but I think he freaking loves her.
Oh yeah, he loves her because she is willing. She's my daddy. She's
nationalist Barbie doll. She looks like like we've talked about that. Yeah. She has that look. She has that appearance. She's wholesome. She's pregnant. She's a young blonde white girl. She checks a lot of boxes for Trump.
Yeah. Hot Amy Schumer is what I called her. She is Amy Schumer. If Amy Schumer was really hot,
especially since she's gotten pregnant, because her face is kind of filled out and gotten rounder, and Amy Schumer has a very round shaped face. I can see that. I see that.
What else you got? Because I know you got a big meeting to get to, and I gotta freshen my coffee.
I got my guy on hold. I told him I'd text him as soon as we're done. So I think I'd like to start out with Joe Rogan in the White House.
All right, what's this about?
So Joe Rogan went to the White House on over the weekend because Trump invited him there. Apparently, what's gone on is that Joe Rogan, and we all know that Joe has always been very pro psychedelic medicine research, and especially when it comes to the treatment of PTSD, anxiety, and things like that, how it relates to veterans affairs, right? And I'm pro this. I'm not speaking up against this in any way.
Yeah, so am I. Wait, let me go on record as somebody who worked with veterans groups, and I paid a lot of attention to the veteran stuff and all that. This has been an issue for years, and credit where credit is due, because I often criticize people who like to get the stolen glory of being, I support the troops. And honestly, the least they do is slap that bumper sticker on their car. They do nothing else. Joe Rogan has been in the trenches for righteous reasons, fighting for people who suffer from debilitating cases of PTSD, who studies have shown have been greatly improved their quality of life through the use of psychedelics. So this is a righteous thing, and Joe's been there from the beginning. So credit where credit is due.
For a very long time, he has been an advocate for this level of research and for the passing of FDA approvals on these sorts of medications. And they are being tested across the board. Again, pro this activity. I am not an anti-drug advocate. Like, that's not what I'm here for. But I think where my thing comes into place on this particular situation is that, so 2 weeks ago, Joe had a guy that showed up on his podcast by the name of W. Brian Hubbard, and he's the CEO of Americans for Ibogaine, which is a drug that is in research trials right now, and it is being indicated. It is a psychedelic derivative drug. It's being indicated for the treatment of addiction, and all of those other things that I listed. So he, in his own admission during this presser in the Oval, says that he texts Trump that this drug needs to get some interest from him on. Trump's response is, "Sounds good to me. What do you want? FDA approval?"
Well, yeah, that's a good start.
And then he writes an executive order. Joe goes to the White House. They stand there. All the press is there. The W. Brian Hubbard guys is there. RFK Jr. is there. Dr. Oz is there. I mean, Trump throws all the bells and whistles at this thing and signs an executive order. Now, of course, they are misconstruing exactly what this executive order does. It did not give FDA approval of the drug. I'm not trying to diminish the effect of what did happen, though. What it did do was it is trying to escalate this so that it gets more money for research. It did throw $50 million at this whole effective, at the effectiveness of trying to get this to clinical trials. I think that's great. I'm here for all of these things. My issue here is that, are we literally at a place right now today where a podcaster with no scientific doctorate degrees in pharmacology research or any such of the sort has this much influence over an administration that person would then respond with, "Do you want FDA approval?"
Yeah. Look, influence gains you access, which gives you power. That's exactly, he's the singular most influential voice in MAGA. The lesser manosphere, if you will. All of those guys are just Kirkland brands of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is the important one, and he has been critical of Trump over the course of the last year. Trump, he may not give a shit about Megyn Kelly, and he'll go after Tucker, and he'll go after Candace, but he ain't going after Joe. He needs to get Joe back. And if this is a way to do it, I can totally see this is the quid pro quo that we choke on when we talk about this guy. He's not presidential. He's a businessman making deals in the back room. Here's the last thing I want to say about this before we move on to something else. Joe Rogan is about, we're talking about corruption. We're talking about insider trading. I hope it's made public what Joe Rogan's stake in this company is, because why is Joe Rogan using his muscle? I said earlier, he's been an advocate for this all along, but there's also going to be a windfall here if this drug does get FDA approval. And I promise you, this company has already given Joe like a 20% shareholder stake in it.
And you're bringing up something I didn't even consider in this whole conversation. Like I said, I really just kind of wanted to put it out there that it could be something benevolent. It really could, and I'm willing to say that.
It could be, but Joe's going to make a lot of money because he ain't doing this without that company giving him a stake.
Wow. And that's another whole wrinkle. Like I said, I just kind of considered it in my evaluation of it as what I call political crumbs. and the mutual manipulation between these two people. And what you pointed out truly, that Joe for the last several weeks has been on his podcast referring to Trump as a liar. He has said that this is not the Trump he voted for. He didn't platform this.
Right.
This is not what he wants. He has called out this whole Iran thing as not the war we should be involved in. We shouldn't be out there fighting for Israel. That the total bombing of a civilization is genocide. I mean, he's been very anti this. Now, in response to this, though, Joe goes back, gets on his podcast the next day, and says that he doesn't understand because he got some push. And Republicans and Democrats pushed back on him for appearing in the White House. And he didn't understand that, why people were so mad at him, because he said that Donald Trump was calling him a liberal the whole time he was there. Joe's not a liberal. Joe's not a liberal. But, it's just the political.
He's pretty liberal for MAGA. He's pretty liberal for MAGA.
Well, by his own admission, he calls himself party agnostic. I mean, he says he's not one or the other, and I'm fine for letting him call himself.
But
a
he
centrist.
is a California stand-up comedian and actor who has no problem with gays, no problem with trans people. He doesn't, subscribe to the Christian nationalist view, which in a lot of MAGA's view means you're liberal if you're not Christian. I mean, he is more liberal, let's call it this. He's more mainstream than any of the other MAGA voices. So,
well, I don't think that any of that has to do with partisan at all. I think that he's smart enough to know that he can't alienate large swaths of people and keep the amount of clout that he has.
True.
All right, plays it smart.
All right, let's move on. What else you got? You got a bunch of good stuff. Give me something else.
So we're gonna swing to Caitlyn Jenner next, because again, yet another pro-MAGA, diehard, conservative, Republican representative for the LGBTQ.
One of the good ones.
Yeah, right. One of the good ones. And she lost her F on her passport. And I sent you a video. I don't know if you want to throw any of it out there, but she appeared on Tomi Lahren's show, which is she's a Fox News pundit. And apparently her passport came up for renewal recently, and in the meantime, all of this new legislation has come out where you have to have the sex, your identity is defined by what you were at birth, and she had worked extremely hard, and in this interview she explains all the hoops she had to jump through. I mean, aside from the biological ones, but the paperwork, the amount of effort and time it took for her to get all of her identification moved from M to F. And now, in the stroke of a pen, her Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, has taken her F away from her and moved her to an M. She can no longer travel. She can not, especially in the Middle East. And she yet still says that in her own words, she says that surely this is just a mistake.
All right, we don't have the video, but sorry, there's no way for me. It's a me problem. I'm having an issue with my phone. When I clicked the link that you gave me, hold on.
It's nothing more than her meandering her way through conversations about men in public restrooms, how it's okay for her to do it, but not some trans people, how this is affecting her, but how it's only matters now that it is hit her doorstep, that she has, that her conservative republicanism.
Hold on, I've got it. I found it. I was able to do it. All right, hopefully we can hear this. All right, here we go. This is a 20-minute clip, so you just tell me when to stop.
Actually, there's one thing I can
it gets into this right at the beginning, and then you can just kind of stop it at the end, because then, like I said, then she meanders through men's in sports. She meanders through men's in public restrooms, things like that. But the first part is the passport part.
All right. Hopefully, we'll be able to hear this.
To anybody, and I think you would kind of understand this one. Today, documentation is extremely important.
All right, wait a second.
I'm not hearing it.
You're not hearing it. Is the chat room? Let's just move on. I'm sorry. Let's
just talk about it, because, like I said, it's pretty cut and dry. Like I said, she explains that when she sent her passport back for renewal. And here's the thing, this is another, like I said, amazing thing that I think that this human being is saying is that, you can appeal this. And she was sent a form. She did fill out the form. She sent it back. She's waiting, I guess, for the final decision. But she also goes on to say that, defending Trump, saying that surely this is a mistake, that she had not reached out to him personally just yet, because he's super busy right now. He's a little busy, but that she did finally write him a letter, and she has yet to hear back anything, but that's okay because, he's a little busy right now.
So, it's okay. It's like the guy whose wife got taken away by ICE, and he's like, but I'd still vote for him.
Yeah, I still love Trump. I'm still pro-Trump. This is unfortunate. I don't know that I thought that this would ever happen to me. I'll be honest. I hope her bags of cash pull her out of the problem. I don't know if that's the case. It doesn't seem like Trump gives two shits about
No. Trump loved Bruce Jenner. Trump thinks Caitlyn's weird. He loved Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner was right in his wheelhouse when Trump was rising in the 80s, trying to be famous. Bruce Jenner was undeniably a superstar in the 80s and in the 70s.
He's on the Wheaties.
Oh my God. Not just Wheaties, but Wide World of Sports, The Love Boat, everything that was in prime time was hosted by Bruce Jenner and Susan Anton. I mean, they were big. I'm just saying, he was everywhere.
Yeah.
So this was at a time when Trump, was like, hey, that's Bruce Jenner. I wonder if he'll talk to me. And I bet you that they struck up a friendship back when he was Bruce Jenner.
But I'm sure they played golf. They're both avid golfers. Why would they have ever been on the same golf course before?
Of course they would have. Trump was a jock sniffer of that world. But my point is this. I think that Trump don't like Caitlyn. I think that Trump thinks it's all very weird and it feels betrayed.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, his friend Bruce has changed so much. So, all right, let's wrap it up because I really got to go to the bathroom and you've got a meeting to get to, and hopefully that meeting goes well for you. We'll talk again maybe tomorrow, when you got good stuff.
So the only other thing, we had two things that we discussed that we were going to maybe talk about. You said you wanted to get into serial killers. I'm here for that if that's what you want to do. But I also wanted to open up the conversation with you about this letter to the White House Correspondents Association from legacy news media who have, they're basically petitioning the people who are going to be at this White House Correspondents' Dinner, which is, sort of an historic event now because Trump has agreed to attend this for the first time in years, ever since he got embarrassed when Obama was in office and they kind of roasted him. He hadn't been willing to go to this. Well, he's going this year. And, Sam Donaldson and Dan Rather and Ann Curry, three very notable journalists, but it's a list of 250 people who have signed this letter that have stated that, they really don't want this to be the lighthearted fare that we're normally used to seeing at the White House Correspondents' Center, that they want them to speak out in opposition of how the legacy news media have been treated by this current administration and hold accountability for, how he is constantly. I mean, we just heard Kash Patel call the fake news a mafia now, that's a mafia. How disrespectful this administration has been to the news in general.
Kevin in the chat room. So the chat room was hearing that audio. Maddie wasn't on the phone, but the chat room was. Okay, that's information I can use to try and figure out. I want to bring you back before the weekend and talk about the correspondence dinner more in depth. So let's figure out when we can do that. All right. Okay. Thank you, Maddie. Appreciate it.
Okay, sounds good.
There she goes. All right, guys. My eyeballs are swimming. I got to go to the bathroom. All right, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to get another coffee. And so stick with me. Give me a little bit longer because I think I got to run out to my car. I got a 2-liter bottle of soda. And, I'm supposed to be good. I'm supposed to be drinking water all day because I allow myself one soda at night, right? I got a lot going on. Screw that. I'm going to go to the bathroom, run out to my car. Give me a couple of minutes here, okay? I'll be right back. We'll do part 2 of the show. We got a lot more stuff coming up. Tell a friend. All right, look at that. Look at that. Not as long as I had thought. You want to know why it wasn't as long as I had thought? I told you there. I'd given you the coward's excuse. I gave you the excuse of a coward. I said, we're going to be a little bit longer in this break because I got to run out to my car because I got a 2-liter bottle of soda and I'm going to open that and I'm going to drink some of it. Even though the goal of the last few weeks has been, I'm not drinking soda during the day anymore. It doesn't matter that it's Coke Zero. I'm drinking water. I'm trying to do more water. That's the goal. And what did I say? What did my cowardly ass say to you in that break? I said, but I've got a lot on my mind. But I've got so much on my mind, so I'm going to have soda. Coward. So I didn't. That's why we're back sooner. I didn't. I was like, I should do that. And then I was reminded, one should never let personal adversity disrupt from the goal. That's what I was doing. I was excused. The goal. What's the goal? The goal is that I'm not drinking soda during the daylight hours. That's the goal. Now, what got in the way of me, making that goal? I got a lot on my mind. We got to catch ourselves and make choices. And the choice that I made there was to stay true to the goal because we do not allow personal adversity. You get it. So I'll just have to be okay with coffee. We got coffee. All right, let's go. What else do we want to talk about here? Let's see. But we did the Kash Patel. We did that stuff. We did this. We did that. We did the other things. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, here's something we can do. I think this is nice. Okay, so here's a nice little palate cleanser, if you will. I think I told you a couple of days ago about this big plan by, is it NBC? I don't know. Who does Jenna Bush work for? I enjoy Jenna Bush. She seems like a nice girl. She has a nice energy about her. And then I'm reminded of how she was raised, and I'm like, she's probably nothing at all like us. Anyway, she seems nice. She's doing this whole series where she is sitting down, Jenna Bush, former first daughter, Jenna Bush. She's sitting down with all of the living presidents and just having a little close one-on-one, because this is kind of cool. All of these presidents have children that she's sitting down with, and most of them daughters. And, so it's kind of neat for these former presidents to sit down and be able to talk with another person who understands, who lived in the house, who gets it, but from a different perspective, right? From the child. Anyway, I thought that was a really interesting and clever concept for Jenna Bush. So she started this series. She started it off with who else? Easiest access, her dad. Jenna Bush sat down and talked with her dad, George W., and it was cute. It was really cute. It was nice. I didn't, you're not expecting gotcha questions, and you're not going to get them other than the most fun gotcha questions that only a daughter could throw at her dad. But here, this is how it went. And I look forward to the whole series. She's going to sit down with Obama. She's going to sit down with, well, all of them. The ones that are still alive. Oh, God, who's still alive? I don't think she's sitting down with Trump. I don't think that's going to be one, although it should be, but probably not going to happen. Former presidents is how it's being stated. Jenna Bush sits down with all the former presidents. All right, here, let's watch this. Jenna Bush and her dad. Here we go.
African-American senator left Democrat. Michelle, that's what.
All right, here you go. There you go. All right, so it's too loud. So sorry about that. All right, so this is about... This is Jenna Bush asking her father about that famous moment at a funeral. Whose funeral was it? Maybe Queen Elizabeth? I don't know. Somebody's big funeral where all the presidents showed up and all that stuff. Jimmy Carter? Maybe it was Jimmy Carter's funeral. I think that it was Jimmy Carter's funeral. Anyway, there was that viral moment where George Bush and Michelle Obama kind of had a little playful exchange. What it was George Bush gave her some Altoids. And this is Jenna asking her father, former Republican conservative Texas president, George W. Bush, asking him, about his relationship with liberal Chicago black Democrat Michelle and Barack Obama.
But that's who I sit next to at funerals. And that's kind of teasing her and stuff. And I slipped her an Altoid. Not as a joke, but I thought she might want one. And I got in the car afterwards and he said, "You're trending." I didn't know what trending meant. and it turns out the country is starved to see a white center-right Republican and a African-American center-left Democrat having fun and being able to converse, not as political figures, but as citizens. Michelle, that's what happened.
All right. Thought that was cute. I just look, man, George W. Bush, I was against the war and all of that stuff back when he was president, but I never hated that man. I always could tell, I could tell that's a good man. That's a nice man. The job makes you the figurehead and representative of the entire nation and whatever the nation is deeming as good for the nation, whatever. But you just take all of that away. And I know that that's hard to do. But, he seems like a good guy. If you bumped into him at the 7-Eleven, he seems like a good neighbor. He seems like a good man. I can't say the same thing for Donald Trump. I can't say that. Donald Trump would be the asshole who would be suing you over the fence line, right? George Bush will come talk to you about the fence line and you'll work out something. And he'll help you dig the new post or whatever. That's just the kind of man he's always struck me as being. So that was like a really nice kind of course, George Bush doesn't have these crazy, ginned up, stupid manufactured issues with the Obamas. He knows they're nice people too. Nice people of different worldviews can get along. But there's no money in that. There's no money in that for the podcasters who need you to hate. There's no money in it for the news networks that need you to hate the other side, whatever side that will be. But the reality is that around about 2016, we decided that entire class of individual, the George Bush class or whatever, we somehow made the decision that they were garbage and corrupt and the only person that could save us would be the purity of Donald Trump. Can we admit we made a miscalculation? And any issue that someone like me, who is a moderate or even Republicans, any issue that we ever had with George W. Bush, can we at least admit now that maybe we were just being a bit performative and hyperbolic? That he really wasn't evil, that we now see what the slippery slope can lead to as far as corruption and people that are, maybe not dealing in the best interest of the American people. Don't we now see exactly how far that can slide? So, George W. Bush, man, that seems like a good dude. Remember when his dad was always jumping out of airplanes? You kids, you might not remember, but his dad was like 115, and every birthday he would just get shoved out of a UPS cargo plane, and he'd just fall. Here's another video. This is more from Jenna Bush sitting down and talking to her dad in a series on the Today Show where Jenna Bush talks to all the former presidents. I don't know what this one's about, but let's listen to it again. Just father and daughter.
Part of a great nation. My message is consider yourself fortunate to be a part of a great nation. Study our history so you have.
So this is sort of the way that they're tagging all of these interviews. These are the former president's message for America today. Okay, what do these former presidents think that we as Americans need to hear today? Here's George W. Bush.
My message is consider yourself fortunate to be a part of a great nation. Study our history so you have a better sense for what the future will be like. And be a citizen, not a spectator. And by that, I mean participate in the process, but also love a neighbor like you'd like to be loved yourself. See, one of the beauties of this country is that there are thousands and thousands of citizens who volunteer on a daily basis to help somebody in need. They're often not heralded, but they make a huge difference one person at a time. And I would hope people will take a look at our history and realize we're an imperfect nation trying to be more perfect, but be optimistic about the future of the country. My message is consider yourself fortunate.
All right, here's what I say about that. All right, here's what I say about that. In other times, that would be a perfectly appropriate message for America. There are no teeth in that. We want teeth. Obama's going to give his teeth. Bill Clinton's going to give his teeth. Biden's going to give his teeth. Some teeth. Some actual, come on, man. That was very pie in the sky. It's 1998. The future's ours. Kind of rosy. We need to do more than just, participate at the local food bank. But thank you, President George W. Bush. There he is, sitting down with his daughter. Let's see. All right, let's get into the Tucker Carlson thing. All right, so, and again, this story's been out for a couple of days now. I think that this started going viral Sunday afternoon. I had it, But you know, a lot of times I get to a point in the show where I'm like, I don't really want to be like that right now. So we skip over it. But it has sort of now taking on a second tier to the Tucker story. Tucker turns on Trump. That'd be my headline. Tucker turns. The story that Tucker Carlson has now sort of apologized to everybody. I guess that's me. I guess that's us normal people who the whole time we're like, this guy isn't good. And we're called libtards and shit. I'm like, I'm a libtard. Don't fucking call me a libtard because I think this guy is nuts. Anyway, Tucker is now apologizing. And there's great debate. Here's the second tier of the story. It's not just that he's apologizing. The second tier of the story is that we're all now trying to figure out whether or not we should accept the apology. And I got to be honest, I don't know. I'm not sure we should accept. A couple of months ago, before the proof of the Epstein and before the Iranian thing, right? Before all of that just made it so unavoidable. A couple of months ago, I was of the mind that we need to provide an off-ramp for these people. That if it's going the direction it looks like it's going, and it doesn't look like it's going great, that these people need to be welcomed back into civilized society, and the off-ramp was the way to do it. Then the Epstein thing happened in Iran, and some people were still circling the wagons, and I'm like, fuck these people. Fuck these people. But I do think that Tucker Carlson is an interesting case in that he was, I talked about Joe Rogan being, singularly the most instrumental, but there are a couple of people, and Tucker Carlson is in that crowd. But Tucker Carlson was the ordained voice of the young right. Right, that was Tucker's role on Fox. He's the young one. Hannity's, he's Tucker, the bow tie from, So he had influence within that side already. Whereas like Rogan was the guy who, when I look at it, Rogan's the guy who brought the fence sitters. Rogan's the guy who brought the non-political people and got them to vote for Trump and all that. So instrumentally, what put Trump over the top was the group that Rogan brought, not necessarily the group that Tucker brought, because those people were already with Trump. But Tucker turning is interesting. Here's the video. I want to listen to it. A lot of people are saying a lot of different things about Tucker and what he sounded like here, whether or not, he's all that. I mean, some like crazy far left lib was like, I think he's being very authentic here. Okay. All right. Well, let's give it a listen. Here we go. Tucker Carlson is asking forgiveness for being a Trump guy when now he says, well, he didn't say it, but I'd like him to say that we were right all along. And then not everybody who said that Trump was bad is a liberal or a libtard or whatever. We were just like, that guy seems untrustworthy. And you people were like, no, he doesn't. He seems like Jesus. And we're like, okay, one of us is weird. That's what happened. And you're never going to be able to rewrite history to make it say anything. Okay? That's what happened. A whole bunch of us were like, this guy is clearly not good. And you guys were like, he is clearly the greatest ever. That's the disconnect that history is going to embarrass you with. So just buckle up. But anyway, Tucker's trying to get out ahead of it. Tucker wants to have a footnote there where it's like, but Tucker Carlson admitted he was wrong.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yeah.
He does seem contrite, but he's also a master broadcaster. He's great at what he does. I love it. He's like, it's not enough to say that we were wrong. No, it's not. It is not.
So I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences.
A lot of us would say that moment came 10 years ago, but welcome. We took a train here. You guys, you must have walked. 10 years later, here you are at the same place we were.
We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people, and it was not intentional.
This is Tucker Carlson. This is a guy who had gangster numbers on Fox News at the height of Fox News's influence with the right. I mean, this is as foundational to what MAGA would become as it gets. Now, I know that he's been drifting for quite some time. He has taken a side with the Israeli and Palestine thing that certainly distances himself from the group that he was once a part of. But that's not how this works. Tucker Carlson had people that listened to Tucker Carlson because they liked Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has what's known in the business as pocket fans. Fans that he carries in his back pocket wherever he goes. If Tucker Carlson tells the world tomorrow that he is transitioning, he's got pocket fans that'll still be there. So when Tucker, and Joe Rogan is the same way, when Joe Rogan flip-flops on an issue, he moves the tide. So I'm just wondering, I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there who are what I would consider to be normal, mainstream, right-wing Republicans. They're just normal. They're not crazy. All right. They didn't get pardoned on January. They're just normal. They vote for Trump. Maybe they put a sign up. Maybe they have a red hat, but they're fairly normal. Like, I know a lot of those people who really over the years, because, I'm on social media, a lot of them have defended Tucker Carlson, and he's a guy, I like Tucker. No, Tucker's wrong, and you're just being a libtard, all of this stuff. So how do you people who are still, you love Tucker, you love his viral stuff, you still love Tucker, but you're also still is that a thing, I guess, is what I'm wondering. Does that still exist? Because Tucker still got numbers. This story has had oxygen for 3-4 days now. If you don't have numbers and influence, your story doesn't have oxygen like this. People are talking about Tucker Carlson because Tucker Carlson is a name, and he's a name because he has clout and following and all of that stuff.
That's all I'll say.
Let's listen to a little more.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
All right.
So
I'll tell you what I think this is all about. I do think that this is all about that a lot of people, there are a lot of smart people. I'm not saying I'm a smart people. I'm not smart people. But this seems to me like a guy who can see what a lot of us can see, which is that all of these guys are going to jail. That, the whole idea that we're America, we don't put our people in prison for political and partisan reasons. Well, that ship has sailed, and it's not for political and partisan reasons. It's going to be for clear investigative reasons. They are going to start investigating as soon as the FBI gets back to normal. They are going to look into all of this stuff, and there is going to be perp walks. And I believe that Donald Trump will die in an American federal prison. I believe that. I believe that for years. He will be convicted of, like the history books will show, that he was one of the greatest rapscallions in American history. And maybe even his presence and the after effects of it, maybe that will fix us to some degree. Maybe we will have a period now where we shift back to normal and we are all hyper aware of extremism in the partisan lens. Maybe that's what comes next. I don't know. But holy shit, Tucker Carlson seems like somebody who knows that all these people are going to jail, and he just wants to be on record right now, a couple of years earlier, as being somebody who's like, I ain't with them. I ain't a part of it. I am complicit. He used specific words. Complicit. We're complicit in all of this. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Okay. Yeah, this will work. TMZ. We told you last week that TMZ has opened a new office in DC, and I think this is going to be great. I don't love the celebrification of our legislators, right? But I think that ship has sailed. I think that with viral videos and Fox News and, rando Congress people lining up to appear on Laura Ingraham every night, I think that the Hollywood, wanting to be a celebrity legislator is, something that's probably been happening now for a number of years. So why not? So, okay, TMZ opens an office in DC. They're going to give DC the Hollywood treatment. Here's what that looks like, by the way. Here, TMZ, I guess they opened for business this week. They're going after people. They're hunting down congressmen and senators as they're walking down the steps and heading to their cars or their offices or whatever. And they're basically questioning them the way they question celebrities as celebrities move through airports. It's the exact same kind of thing. I think it's kind of cool because in this case, they're asking all of these people about what we just heard from Tucker Carlson. This is TMZ, DC, fielding responses from congressmen about what we just heard Tucker Carlson say, apologizing for the complicity that he now feels in the rise of MAGA and Trump.
Something that I saw today, which I think is taking a lot of people by surprise, is Tucker Carlson. He's apologizing to his supporters and his fans, saying that, he was a big reason why Donald Trump got elected.
This is Representative Randy Fine.
And due to the Iran war, he's kind of reeling back, saying, hey, I'm taking accountability. That's got to be a kind of big blow to the Republican Party, considering he's like, if not the biggest influencer. What do you make of all that?
I think he was. I don't think he is anymore. Look, I called Tucker Carlson the most dangerous anti-Semite in America last October. And I don't know that I would say that anymore. I think, be careful. I think he's lost so much credibility within the party. I wouldn't make that statement that he's the most, whatever you described him as.
The most dangerous
anti-Semite? He was in December, sure, because he was espousing he was trading on a reputation that he created over all of his time in Fox News. My father was someone, we're going to go this way. My dad was someone who would hang up the phone to me when Tucker was on, because he loved him. And, watching his sort of descent into the mental sickness that he has.
Okay, well, clearly you're not a fan, but needless to say, your party are big fans. I mean, there are millions of people who love Tucker and hang on his every word. So the fact that he's, I'd say the numbers kind of beg to differ. I mean, he has a pretty big podcast and he's telling millions of people, like, hey, I messed up on this one. Oh, what is this?
One of my Hebrew hammers.
What do you make of it?
The Hebrew hammer. Rep Randy Fine, one big Jew. That's a big dude. You notice he's got the yarmulke. So he's going to have just, foundational differences with Tucker now because Tucker is pro-Palestine and pro-anti-Israel and all that. So, all right, we understand that, but that's interesting. I'd like to have heard from a different variety of Republican. Randy Fine certainly has grounds to be upset with Tucker already because of the whole, Israel-Palestine thing. I'd like to have heard from, a Lindsey Graham, although Lindsey Graham is also deep in the pockets of the Israeli. Well, who isn't? Who in the Republican Party is not deeply funded by the Israeli government? I mean, we know that for a fact. Anyway, here, this is, I forgot this guy's name. Probably good that I don't know his name. That means that he's probably a pretty good congressman. That means that he doesn't turn up on TV talking about nonsense. That means that he's actually working late in his congressional office trying to figure out why they can't get the lights down on Maine to work. The job of a congressman who is actually working in his district and on his district. So I don't know who this guy is, but this guy's a Democrat. We just heard from Republican Randy Fine, so let's listen to this guy.
What's he messed up on this one? Oh, what is this?
One of my Hebrew hammers.
Hebrew hammer.
What do you make of all that? What's he up to?
I don't know if there's anything grander. I think he disagrees with a lot of what Trump is doing. He probably still agrees with Trump on a lot of the parts of his agenda as well. But I think he's come to terms with the fact that Trump lied. He lied to his own base. He lied to the entire country. And the thing I'm glad that he did is apologize, because you have a lot of people who are talking around the thing, like, I disagree with the war, I disagree with this, not hitting Trump directly, but the more people we have that say, you know what, he lied to us so much that I actually regret voting for him and regret telling people to go vote for him. I think it's a good thing.
Is he sincere? Is he sincere in saying all that?
I think he's sincere in saying that. No, but does that mean it's like, oh, Tucker Carlson, that's my boy now? No. He still holds a lot of beliefs that I think.
All right, I have no idea who that guy is, but I like him. I like what he said there. He's absolutely right. This does not mean that Tucker Carlson is now my boy. What it means is that in this particular case, he made a decision that I agree with, and that's progress. Progress. All right, let's see. What else are we going to do here? Oh, some wild plane crash video. This is out of, I think, California. Check this out. We'll look at this real quick. This is, we're seeing more of this stuff. It's not the planes are crashing more. It's that more people have dash cams now in their cars. I'm thinking that like 1 in 5 cars have a dash cam. Well, is it an Uber thing? Maybe that's what it is. Does Uber and Lyft like require its drivers to have a dash cam in case of like accidents or whatever? Maybe that is, I don't know. Adam's like the Uber expert. Check this out, man. This is a plane. This was yesterday, California. Oh boy. Okay, we'll do this slowly. So here it comes. It clips the power lines. A 75-year-old pilot ended up dumping this thing in a parking lot. The parking lot is right here. It's the parking lot of an O'Reilly's Auto Parts. So the plane just dumps right there. Nobody on the ground was hurt. The pilot himself was rushed to a hospital in critical condition. Again, this was shortly after takeoff at an airport that's just around the corner here. You can see he's still trying to climb. Doesn't get enough height. Clips the power line. And then it's, oh, no. Oh, no. All right, let's watch it. Ooh, there's the clip. You see that? He just clipped it. Oh, boy. And now look at it. Now it's heading right into the ground. Oh, Jesus. Oh, good Lord. Right there. That's the parking lot of an O'Reilly Auto Parts. And planes. Planes now serving. Now plane parts. Random plane parts. Come on by. All right, let's watch it one more time, full speed. Let me tell you something. You know, I frequent the O'Reilly Auto Parts or Track Auto or whatever. You know, there's any number of them, whatever is closest and has the part that I need. If I'm doing a little bit of routine maintenance, maybe I've got a tail light out or something. Let me tell you, this is what I say, folks. This is why I say your next breath is not guaranteed. And don't be an asshole thinking you can make up for it tomorrow, because now is all you've got. I can't tell you how many times I've been in the parking lot of an auto parts store doing a little bit of work. I just bought the bulbs. I'm going to install them here in the parking lot. What if they don't work? I'm going to walk right back in. This is how I die. Changing antifreeze in the parking lot of an O'Reilly when an old man flying a plane clips a power line. This is how quick it can happen. Now, in this case, thankfully, none of that happened. It's all very good. But, you know, the old man, I wonder how the old man did. Don't care. You shouldn't be driving, let alone flying. Boom. There it goes. Yikes. Life comes at you fast, gang. Oh, my God. Okay, what else do we want to do here? Plane crash fit. Okay, all right, we'll do a little lifestyle stuff. Why not? We like to have some fun with the lifestyle talk. Let's do a little lifestyle talk. I want to show you a video. Now, these videos, come on, anybody who scrolls social media, we see these kinds of videos all of the time. Husband and wife getting a fight, or this really happened. And I got to be honest with you, a good 80% of the time, I'd say 8 out of 10 of these videos, I go, that was staged. That was totally staged. That was bullshit for clicks. They're not it's always the acting in the response. Again, we'll go back. I am really good at miniature golf and judging people, and judging response is one of my main tells. Is that response, is that instantaneous response to what just happened authentic, or did you seem to have concocted it? It's one of the ways I judge people. So I'm really good at these videos. The first thing that I hone in on is this person real? Is this person reacting to this situation real? And most of the time I'm like, no, they're not a good actor. That I'm not buying it. Sometimes I guess I have to hold out the option that, maybe this is the greatest undiscovered actor of all time. But anyway, in this case, real. This is real. This is real, because there is no way the guy is this good of an actor. All right. First of all, I believe 100% in the authenticity of the dopey, dim nature of this caught husband. This is a husband who gets caught, and he's very dopey and dim, and it's very believable. His response to getting caught is very on the nose for dopey and dim. And so at that point, I have to say, is he just really great at acting dopey and dim? Like, is he a great actor? No, there's no way this guy is that good. So let me show you this. Here's the premise. This guy has apparently been carrying on one of these relationships online. He's married, and he's been carrying on an online relationship with this girl for like 2 weeks. And I guess he's been sitting on the couch with his wife, texting this woman. Well, guess what? The whole time, the woman was his wife. The woman was his wife on a dating app. She catfished her own husband and then set up a date after 2 weeks of them talking. And by the way, it's like apparently this was going on right in front of each other. Like they're sitting in the living room watching TV and he's texting someone and she's like, who you're texting? And he's like, nobody. Meanwhile, she's over there on the laptop responding. You know, this guy got completely. Anyway, so they set up a meeting. So she's like, you come meet me at this place. She made him drive like 2 hours, some restaurant way out of town. And then she just filmed it. She just pulled her phone out when he walked in. She pulled the phone out, and this is how it went down. And I'm telling you, a lot of these times, these things are bullshit. A lot of times they're done specifically for clicks. But, you know, the world is a funny place, and real crazy things do happen. And sometimes normal people find themselves in extraordinary situations that naturally go viral. And that's what this is. Because, again, I don't buy that this guy is that good of an actor. There is no way this guy is an Academy Award winning actor playing the role of a dopey, caught dead to rights husband. He can't be this good of an actor. All right, so here it is. Point of view, you've been catfishing your husband for 2 weeks. I made him drive to meet McKenna, who was actually me the whole time. All right, here he comes. Now, at this point, you got to believe that he's already identified his wife. He's like, oh, shit, my wife is here. I'm supposed to be meeting my girlfriend. We're 2 hours away. This doesn't make sense. Is he wearing, I thought he was wearing like a Barstool t-shirt, which would just really, it's not. I don't think it's a Barstool t-shirt, but it looks like it, which would be like, that tracks. Yeah, he's a big dumb Barstool guy. All right, anyway, let's watch this. Here's how it goes down.
McKenna.
You know how childish that is?
That's the defense. This is the quick wit. She's like, so I'm McKenna. You're not childish. That you're a child. I'm mature. I'm the mature one in this room. You're a child. Like, that's just the dumbest. It's a very dumb, very self-centered way of attacking this situation. And it's natural because he's a big dumb gorilla. And I don't believe that he is acting. I think this is real.
You know how childish that is? Why don't you just say I found your profile? You made me drive 2 hours?
Yeah, and you actually fell for it.
Is that his profile? He's like, ladies, I'm single. He's mad that she made him drive 2 hours to be found out. Like, he's not even thinking about trying to save the marriage or whatever. He just probably figures this is nothing. Well, she'll be cool. She'll get over it. Active between June. Let's see. Well, we don't need to look at his profile. Son of a bitch. He's processing. He's upset. He knows he's caught, and he really doesn't know what to do now. So he's just funneling the aggression through profanity. Son of a bitch. That's all he can do.
For 2 weeks, we talked.
2 weeks.
All those times you were sitting on the couch, just texting nobody, you tell me. That was me texting you the entire time, Josh.
That's an authentic response from a big dumb guy. He doesn't know what to say. And I would think that if this was faked, there would be a line written for him that would be more interesting. No, this is just a big, dumb, awkward guy. Doesn't know what to say. He's caught dead to rights. She's childish for doing this. He seems most upset about having to drive 2 hours.
The entire time. You tell me. That was me texting you the entire time, Josh. Yeah.
What?
Have anything to say for yourself?
Great, you won this one.
Great, you won this one. Like, what do you think? You're gonna go home together, everything's been fine, but next time he's gonna win that one. Great, you won this one. I bet she's hot. I bet she's really hot because look, he seems like he could probably get chicks. He seems to be in pretty good shape. He's big. He's a big, dumb, stupid guy. I imagine there's a lot of pretty together hot chicks who would take this big, dumb galoot home and pretty much be like, all right, you're now my thing. You're now my robot boy. Because you see that a lot. You see a lot of like really hot women who have shit together, who are really bright. You see them a lot with like big dumb muscle guys like this. And that's what I think is happening here. I think she's like hot. She's like, oh, my big dumb muscle guy. He just got stupid on me. And now I've got to fucking show him who the boss of this relationship is. And that's what's going on. This guy is busted. This guy's busted. Why'd you make me drive 2 hours?
I think I'm going to go ahead and save it. Have anything to say for yourself?
Great, you won this one.
I think I'm going to go ahead and save this for our attorney. I've got a big fuck you to give you.
I can feel it.
And I can't believe that you actually fell for it.
That's it.
Get your fucking laughs in.
Don't worry, I am. And so is everyone else on the internet, as well as your family and our...
All right, there you have it. Get your laughs in. By the way, I need you to iron my shirt in the it's like, he thinks like that's anyway. That was great. I bought that. Call me crazy. A lot of times I like to think I'm ahead of the curve. I can sniff these things out. That one I buy. I buy that as being completely authentic. No joke. All right, let's see. What else do we have? We got the TMZ thing. Okay. All right, here's how we're going to close it out. Oh, by the way, before we do close it out, I do want to say one more time, a big thank you to our executive producer. Today's show was executive produced and brought to us by Peter the Great. Peter, of course, of Peter and Kim. Cannot ever forget the better half, as they say. So thank you to Peter, but we also had a brand new reward or trophy or whatever, the designation that we give out today. It is new. It is to the person as producer of the day, which is what Peter is. That person contributed financially. That person tipped the most on the previous day's show, and they get the title of executive producer. So thank you so much for helping with what ultimately is probably the most important thing, which is the financial well-being of the show. So thank you to Peter for that. But there are other ways, because I understand in this crazy time, this economy, people are a little bit tight. We're all tight. You want to support the show. You want to see it continue. And there are other ways that I've laid out for you. So we've created a new award. It's called are you ready? He Who Doeth Thine Mostest Award. Person who is liking, forwarding, maybe bringing a friend to the chat room. Ooh, that would be a good one. Promoting the show. What Barney did was Barney made a clip. Barney took a clip of a part of me, riffing on Bobert, and just put it out there. That's what we need. We need clips. That's amazing. And that's why Barney is today's inaugural He Who Doeth Thine Mostest. And by the way, if a woman does it again, it will be She Who Doeth Thine Mostest. And should we grow to the point where we have somebody who is of the, third option, we will make the appropriate changes, because we don't look to marginalize anybody here. Just don't be weird, be cool, be nice. We're all fine. Here, this is the last thing that I want to show you. Thank you to both Peter and to Barney. Thank you, guys. Let's see here. What's the last thing that I want to show you? Oh, this I thought was interesting. So, by the way, I just got to tell you, I always tell you the shows that I look forward to going home and watching. Man, I know yesterday I took a big dump on DTF St. Louis, and it's not terrible. It's just there's no reward. I just did not find it rewarding. It's not terrible. The performances are fantastic. The story is really weak. It's curious, and it's weird, and it's tittillating, but it's not a good story. It could have been if they had figured out a way on DTF St. Louis to tie the story together, but I think they abandoned that about, episode 5 and just went for, let's be weird. Let's just be weird and kind of freak people out and make pugs uncomfortable, and then we'll just tie it up and call it a series. And that's kind of what I think they did with DTF St. Louis. However, the other show that HBO Max put out there, the new Bill Lawrence show. Bill Lawrence, he, of course, of Scrubs, Ted Lasso, Shrinking. What else does he do? Well, now, Rooster. Rooster, starring Steve Carell. Man, Connie Britton. Who doesn't love Connie Britton? She's 59 years old, and I could be so lucky. Connie Britton. I don't know who else is in it. Oh, the guy who played Jamie from Ted Lasso. Jamie? He played Jamie, who on Ted Lasso played this like superstar, young, arrogant, egomaniacal superstar soccer player. He was like a young superstar and all that. And he was an egomaniac and he was really stupid. Same actor is now playing a college professor in the new Bill Lawrence series, Rooster. And he's good. The guy who plays Jamie, I'm like, that guy's good. That guy's good. He's playing a college professor, like a really snooty, really smart one, which, shows chops because Jamie from Ted Lasso was not smart. And this guy is like super smart, college professor. Anyway, Rooster's so good, you guys. I'm all caught up. I ran through it. I think I got one more episode. Man, for all the same reasons that I can tell you that I think that, shows like Ted Lasso and Shrinking on Apple TV, other Bill Lawrence shows, I tell you these shows, they just do good things for the universe. I think it's good that this kind of outlook and attitude is a good thing for people to see, and it's good to normalize decent people. That's the thing that I would say about Bill Lawrence. All of his stuff have this common thread of just decency and an undertone of like, look, we're trying to be good. We're all trying to be good people. Because there's been a celebration in popular culture going all the way back to, the 1990s, where the anti-hero was always the person that the people were lining up to go give their money to. The anti-hero, oh my God, Walter White. He ain't supposed to be making meth. Tony Soprano, how come I like Tony Soprano? He's a mafia guy. He's bad. He's a criminal. So that's why I appreciate what Bill Lawrence is doing. He's sort of, he's finding really interesting characters and good people, which, I don't know that that's all that common. It's why he stands out. Now, going back to the anti-hero thing, one of the real origins of this let's glorify bad behavior is one of the greatest situation comedies ever made, Seinfeld. Those people were pieces of shit. It was a celebrating, and again, when Seinfeld came out, it was sort of the pendulum to what we had been presented on situational television, which was always that, Bill Cosby Show, Parents on the Keatons, right? Those people, they're all good people. Television was always filled with good people. Seinfeld comes along and is like, they're kind of pieces of shit. They're like admitting that they're flawed and they're trying to, con their way in. So that was sort of the birth of it. So when you look now at like the new Bill Lawrence show, Rooster, I mean, it's just the intention and the vibe and the energy of the characters just so completely different than Seinfeld. But it brings us to this. I found this yesterday. I thought this was fun. For those of you who love Seinfeld, and I love Seinfeld, the distinctive Seinfeld. I mean, one of the most distinctive yet almost non-existent theme songs of all time. Because Seinfeld didn't use a theme song. What they used that time for, which, by the way, it was always a problem that nobody really discovered until like the late 1990s, which was that if you were trying to create a 30-minute situation comedy, why do you have a 4-minute theme song or whatever it is? You're chewing into actual scenage time. So Seinfeld was one of the first shows that said, yeah, we don't need a theme. We don't need anything. We would like the opening of the shows to be Jerry doing a little bit of, stand up, and then we'll lead into that day's story. So that's where the bang, bang, boom, bang came from, right? So here, check this out. This is the guy who did that. This is the guy who created it, and he's going to show you how he did it. A lot of it was with like mouth stuff. That's what she said. All right, here he is. Here's the dude.
Instead of using, trumpets and saxophones and guitars to play melodies, which might have interfered with this lead instrument, his voice, I gathered sounds from my mouth. And I created this library of weird noises that you can make with your tongue, and they seem to play along well with his voice. Then I used the bass, that slap bass, as the primary melody of sorts for Seinfeld.
This was heartbreaking for me. What is about to be revealed was heartbreaking for me. You mean to tell me that's not a slap bass? That's a synthesizer? This whole time, like the coolest sounding slap bass in TV history turns out to be a fucking synthesizer? A sampler, no less?
Bass as the primary melody of sorts for Seinfeld. It's in audio range that doesn't interfere with Jerry, and I can use it modularly to wind in and out of his lines.
To somehow be able to get out of that stuff and go on my own is now the vilest, most destructive.
Oh! Come on!
Each episode.
All right, that's all we need to see. We don't need that. Come on, man. That brings me back. That's fun. See, it is a bit crushing to realize that it's a nerdy white guy in a sweater with a synthesizer sampler. It's not actually some cool ass funk bass player. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, so whatever. But life is full of disappointments. We just have to manage them to the best of our expectations. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Thank you to Maddie. She'll be back later in the week. We're going to get out of here. Stuff to do, people to see. It's nice outside. Where's my phone? Yeah, here's my phone. It's nice outside. Nice outside. I gotta go to the house. I gotta go here. I gotta go to the house. I don't gotta go. I want to go to the hospital. It's not like, oh, I gotta go because performatively needs to. No, I want to go. I'm, my mom's in the hospital, so I want to get over there. My mom is so funny. It's like you go visit my mom in the hospital, and the minute you show up, she's trying to get rid of you. It's like, I don't know that she wants you to leave, but I know that what she wants is for you not to be inconvenienced. And I think my mom, whenever my mom visits somebody in the hospital, she must want to get the fuck out of there as quickly as possible, because when she's in the hospital, she projects that and she just thinks everybody else wants to get out of here. So it's like, you show up, you sit down, and how you doing? I'm good, blah, blah. Maybe 5 minutes pass, and she goes, well, you probably want to get out of here. Why don't you just go ahead? I'm feeling tired. She does this every time. I was there yesterday. I'm there for like 15 minutes. Me and her husband, we're just sitting in the room, and she's like, you guys get out of here before the rain comes. You don't want to be caught in the rain. Look, we're two grown men. I think we can navigate a rain shower in the middle of a fucking Wednesday afternoon, right? Or Tuesday or whatever it was. Rain. Oh, you guys don't want to get caught in the rain. Actually, we've given it no thought. We don't even mind. It's not a big deal. Cars now have windshield wipers, and humans do not dissolve when they get wet. We're not gremlins. We're okay. So I got to go do that. I'll tell you the thing that absolutely sucks about this process, and a lot of us go, well, look, everybody visits people they love and care about in the hospitals, And a little different. Maybe I think when it's your mom, your mom or your kid, that's always like the most serious. I don't have any brothers or sisters, so I can't relate it to that. But even I would bet that you would care more about your mother than your brother. If your brother was in the hospital, you'd be like, man, I'm very serious. But, mom, you'd probably visit her first, is my point. And then everything, and I get yelled at about everything, right? Because I'm trying to be the son, the doting son. I'm trying to do everything. Yesterday, she goes, and my mom's awesome, but my mom likes to complain. I think she's throughout the course of her life, I think she celebrates, I tell you about scrolling, the dopamine. I think that my mom has sort of become addicted to the dopamine that you get when you're disappointed, even if you're not disappointed. Again, understand this diagnosis is coming from her son, who probably has a far more delicate vibe on disappointing her, right? So maybe it's like the son who always feels like he's disappointing her anyway. And certainly now I'm sensitive to her seemingly always disappointed, whatever. There's a lot of garbage that goes on in these relationships. We all have them. But anyway, my mom is so funny because she says to me, she goes, all I want is a Coke. This is exactly all. I just want a Coke, a Coca-Cola. I'm like, okay, I'll get you Coca-Cola. There's a machine right around the corner. I'm just gonna go get it. And I turn, there's a Coke machine right around the corner. I'm like, go get you a Coke. Oh no, don't go get me the Coke. Mom doesn't want to put me out. It's around the corner. Just get you Coke. You want a Coke? And she's like, I ordered it at 11, and it's now like 4:00 in the afternoon. It's like, I ordered it at 11, and I go, okay, there's a Coke machine around the corner. So in my head, I'm going, oh, you just want to complain about it not being here. You don't even really want the Coke. You just... well, when you got a mom like mine who pretty much, was handed the biggest bag of bullshit when she was 22 years old, when the police knocked on the door and said, your husband's dead. Congratulations, you're going to have to use that art degree of yours to raise this child on your own. She was handed that and then handled it like a boss. So I'm going to forgive her wanting to just, complain about no Coke. Oh, and then the no Coke story took on a little bit extra because they finally delivered her a Coke. The hospital doesn't have Coke. The hospital has Shasta Cola. Oh no! Oh, Shasta Cola. This woman didn't work her entire life to have to be in a hospital at this age and drink Shasta Cola when she wants real American Coca-Cola. Shasta? What is this, 1968? Where did you get Shasta Cola? Anyway. So I was talking to her before we came on the air, just before I came on. I was like, all right, I'll be over there about blah, 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 blah. No, you don't. Just, do your thing. I'm going to do my thing, but currently part of my thing is to come see you. Oh, you don't have to. I'm like, I'm going to bring you a Coke. Would you stop with the Coke? So I'm not going to bring her a Coke. I'm going to bring her a Coke. But anyway, just funny. So I'll show up. And again, I'll be there about 10 minutes and she'll try and kick me. My goal is an hour. I'm like, okay, if I can just get an hour, then I don't have to, then I'll just take an hour of her life. I mean, I'll stay. I mean, if we watch something on TV or whatever, we'll do that. But I mean, look, she's not getting me out of there in less than an hour. I want to hang out with her. It's my mom, right? She's not feeling well. I want doctors, nurses, they come and go. I like to hear this stuff. All right, so that's what's going on with my life. Also, my damn kid. Told you about that at the start of the show. I love him, but oh my God. He can't miss another day of school. Can't miss another day of school. Or what? It's like, or what? We can't miss another day of school, or what? Well, he's going to have to repeat the grade. He gets A's. Why are you going to make him repeat? What do you mean? I understand there's an imbalance here, that it seems like somebody who misses that much school should not have the grades that he's got. But here we are, man. So we've got to come up with a new plan, because you can't just kick a guy out when he's, he doesn't need your rule. He doesn't need as much time apparently as other kids. Look at me being an asshole dad, humble bragging. I love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, okay? We'll be back tomorrow at noon for more of The Rant with me, who will be tomorrow's He Who Doeth the Mostest for the show, and who might be tomorrow's executive producer, and who might be our platform podium performers tomorrow. Yeah, there's a reason to come back. Little games. All right, love you guys. Bye.